win also, but I will try to win before him.
Now that you have a sector under your name, is there a way you would like to honor this sector and do something there?
I mean, yeah, it's really a big honor to receive a sector name. I mean, a stone next to the sector with my name, and it's a really nice memory, and I accepted it with real honor. And but yeah, I'm not thinking just because there's a rock with my name there that this is the moment to attack. But you never know, maybe it is.
And I shall call you Peter, the Rock. Well, his name's Tadej, but he's still cue the Rocky music whenever he takes to a bicycle. Let's wait and see, shall we?
Indeed. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an honour for him, but it's just ticking these races off. I mean, it's interesting looking at what he's going to be racing later in the year, but he's always relaxed, isn't he? Definitely a nod to the talent of Paul Sexas there as well.
This is how we started, and it was a lively old thing. Axel Laurence, of course, for Ineos Grenadiers, Brandon Smith-Rivera as well. They will be hoping to do something. As we join our pictures live, and I can tell you the Strade Bianche have already had a massive impact as we get through the Lugnato d'Asso. There was a split in the peloton, and it's not been mended yet. The drive, indeed, from some of the bigger names is trying to tag on to these 9 riders who find themselves up and with some freedom here. But the gap that they'd pushed out almost to 2 minutes has been trimmed back to 40 seconds. In fact, 14, beg your pardon, is only their advantage right now. So it's a question of retrieval. And, of course, when you've got a team like UAE Team Emirates working, of course, for Tadej Pogačar, and you can see his world champions bands and his, well, you can't see his new coloured hair underneath that helmet. In fact, the trusses which normally hang out of his helmet are not visible. Why? Because he's wearing indeed a trackies helmet almost, an aero helmet definitely, which says to me that absolutely everything has been accounted for here. He wants victory, wants to add to this amazing tally. He's won it 4 times. Can he make it another one? Well, can he make it 4?
Can he make it 4? He'd certainly like to make it 4, Carlton. But yeah, he's got his team on the front. We've got Felix Grosshartner, and I think it's worth giving a shout to the squad that he's got behind him. The way they've teed up the race over the last couple of years. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of talk about there's only going to be one winner. There's a high likelihood that he would win. Let's be perfectly honest, in this golden era of cycling, whatever you want to call it, in terms of the men's side of things, and the odds of Tadej Pogačar not winning a bike race are against you. You know, he's the overriding favourite, but he's got to get it right. He cannot take, on a course like this, along with Flanders and Roubaix, there's so much that could happen. There's so many other impact factors. All it needs is a touch of wheels just to get something wrong in the corner, like we saw last year. So there'll be nerves as well, and that little nod to Paul Sexas, but he's got the sort of team to change the shape of the peloton, to reduce things earlier on, to reduce the chances of bad luck happening. And his team are dominating things at the moment. Still a fair few riders there. Looks like a best part of 60, maybe 70 riders in the main field. Fast pace at the moment, average 43 k's an hour at the moment. Very, very quick indeed. Not much wind out there today. We've seen this race affected by wind in the past, but only about 4 kilometers now wind coming from the east to west. So nothing too windy for them to bother about. But no, he's got the squad, including Isaac Del Toro, of course.
Absolutely, there's an awful lot of firepower there. Jan Tristan can't be discounted either. Del Toro, Florian Vermeersch. And when, indeed, you factor in those real favourites, indeed, to feature today as part of the engine room for the world champion, Tadej Pogačar, and then you think, well, we haven't even mentioned Felix Grosshardt and Derwin Novak, or indeed Kevin Vermaak. That is frightening. It's as simple as that. And here, indeed, are the team written out for it. There is no weak link there.
There's never a weak link in the UAE Team Emirates squad. Over in Paris-Nice that starts tomorrow, they've got a hitter squad there. Wherever they line up, they've got a hitter squad, regardless of the fact of Tadej Pogačar is there. But they've just got so much heft in the engine room. They really have. They can make this race hard for everybody. And as you can see, nobody else is assisting in the pacemaking. There's no need. They kind of know what to expect, and they're burning through riders at the moment. That lead bouncing around, as you say, got to about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, but now in this serious part of the race, still 90 k's to go, and we're coming up to one of the longest sectors in the race, the Monti Sainte Marie. I've got a few k's till that, but that is 11.5 kilometers long. That's the second longest sector in this entire race. The longest they went past a long time ago. ago. That was Luncinano Dassel. That's 11.9, but this is long. 11.5 kilometres coming up, so a key sector of gravel.
Yeah, the Luncinano, the meat, I think you might say, of the first big split that we have. Luncinano meat. We've got to have another one as well with Monte Santa Maria, which is coming up next. 11.5 kilometres, 5 stars, and it's going to be a nightmare for them and heaven for us, because there will be action. We've seen from a slightly unstable surface today some of the big truck marks that we've had laid down there had an impact on occasion in the Strade Bianche Donna, which has been completed. That was a spectacular race. If you have a chance to catch it on catch up, please do so. Amazing. Yeah. I think we're going to have an equally dramatic day today. It bodes well that this is coming back together. I'm not saying that I particularly favour any team, but what I want is a really big punch-up. Well, let's wait till we get beyond Monte Santa Maria, shall we? 11.5 kilometres of absolute hell, rises and falls. It was and always has been a defining moment of this race before we get to the big double loop circuit that ultimately takes us to the foot of our final climb, and then glory, of course, up to Piazza del Campo. And this is where we find ourselves right now. Monte Santa Maria is beckoning, and Matt, be nervous.
Yep. Thing is, it's got a bit of everything on it. There's climbs on it, there's descents on it, there's flat rolling sectors, and we've seen in the past UAE Team Emirates tear this race apart. We really have, and we've seen Tadej Pogačar go with 80 k's to go in this race before. Yep. So what we know and what we've learned over the last few seasons, don't expect the unexpected, almost expect the expected. At any point from this point onwards, when we hit the Santa Maria section, this race could be won and lost. I mean, and look at the way the other teams are moving up. Wout van Aert's moving up. Ben Healy being dragged to the front as well there. The little Irishman who just gets better and better and better. What a season he had. This is going to be exciting. And Jorgensen now pulling over for a bike change. Not a great moment for the American there. No,
laying it straight down as well with a big pace, as you can see, because everyone wants to be in a decent position, preferably towards the front. You don't want to be collected by somebody else who takes a tumble when you get to the Monte Santa Maria, and that's why indeed it's all hands to the pumps at the moment. Teams want to get themselves at some space, and indeed that means get yourself up front. Ben Healy has called for action. Richard Carapaz is part of that team, of course. Vincenzo Albanese likewise. We haven't really had time to dwell on some of the big names that are here. Pello Bilbao can surprise for Bahrain Victorious. Verstringer, the man of course who can really make noises when it comes to cyclocross. Can he do so here? He's got Thibaut Del Grosso as well from Alpecin. Paul Seixas we've mentioned. Paul Lapera backing him up at Decathlon. AF Education with the aforementioned Healy, who's already in a very good position. We know how he is a long-range missile on occasion. Romain Gregoire for Groupama. Axel Laurence is here for Ineos Grenadiers with Brammer Rivera Smith. We have Philipsen, of course. We have Van Eetveld, Berkemals, Quinn Simmons, Vermeersch. You get the idea. It is absolutely rack full of talent. We'll get to them when we can, but right now it's kicking off, and even Vermeersch here. Jan Vermeersch at the back, one of those expected to thrive with Pellizzari as part of Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. Kenton Hermans, Tom Pidcock, of course, went strongly last year. They're all in the vanguard, but there's a decisive moment coming up. It's a distillation, if you like, of drama right now, or indeed in a couple of kilometres' time, because the Monte Santa Maria is always a shakedown. Everyone knows it. That explains the pace. It also explains why there's so many big names absolutely in this cauldron right now. What are we cooking?
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. You can see Florian Vermeersch just at the back, as you say. He's getting used to seeing me in the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe kit. Remember, he was the former, a few years ago, world gravel champion, as we see Matteo Jorgensen getting back. He nearly took a couple of riders out, actually, when he swung over one of the riders from Astana and nearly wiped out. But thankfully, there was no mishaps, but he's now moving back up the outside. So Matteo Jorgensen, a key rider in this race, of course. Wout van Aert, we heard from him at the start. Be interesting to see how Wout is going. He certainly wouldn't be riding this race unless he was in pretty decent form. But as he was saying, he's had a nightmare season really so far. But there he is in the centre, number 201, looking good, just behind Del Toro.
Yes, and just off the right shoulder here of our world champion Tadej Pogačar, a man who practically owns the race, it seems. In fact, if you speak to anyone before today, you'll say, well, Tadej Pogačar, who's going to finish second and third? It's not like that. You never know what's going to happen in this race. It's so uncertain, isn't it?
Yeah, but we saw in the big favourite for the women's race, had a difficulty. So if you've not seen the results, I won't spoil it, but as you correctly said, anything can happen in this race. And that is why the team are taking nothing to chance and making sure that the world champion and defending champion is in a good position. This is the group out in front. Tim Rex, the big Belgian, driving through. Again, new colours for him this year, rolling through. Also great to see Jack Haig again. The Aussie, third in the Vuelta a few years back.
Fabulous.
Is riding well, rolling through. And also the young talent Thibaut Del Grosso. What a cyclocross season that he had. One of the biggest burgeoning talents out there. The Dutchman in a good position, but the gap has been slashed. With 1,900 metres to the start of the second longest sector in this race, the lead is now a solitary 10 seconds.
Oh, right. Gird your loins, let's put it that way, because the uneven surface is just about to rock into our consciousness, and more than that, it's very, very long. There's also some rises and falls here, which means bizarrely, within this Strade Bianche, there are very, very, very small sections of where somebody's actually laid down some concrete and some asphalt. And so that adds to the disquiet here. And look at the way that I mean, how would you describe that? A groin? A truncated spur. David Jackson isn't here to help me out, my geography teacher. But there you go. My favourite teacher, and also that of Sebastian Coe. That's another story. 85 kilometres, just shy of remaining today. It's time to indeed get yourself into a prominent position. You're going to be behind these guys as we enter it, but not by much. This could be very, very busy. There's not going to be much wiggle room for anybody who gets it wrong. And you don't want to be behind somebody who's going to take a tumble. Lots of hams being shaken out here. It's already been difficult enough. It's about to get more so. It
is a critical part of the race. You can just see how fast the brake will move in there. And their leader's coming down. It looks like they're not going to be caught just as they hit the sector. They're just going to enter that sector just in front. They go 300 metres to go. There's that tight left-hander. So the brake will make it through in pole position, for want of a better word. And it is UAE Team Emirates. XRG's given their full name. Banking over to the left-hand side.
Here we go.
Coming up the inside there. Squeezed in that corner.
5 wide. Won't make it through, you wouldn't think, but they do so. But a big squeeze back behind, and they just about squirrel onto it. We're on to the Strade Bianche, the biggest section that we've seen so far as you join us live here. I've got to tell you that 6 sectors have already been dealt with, but the main meat of the day is still to be had. And who's going to carve it?
Well, here we go. Tadej Pogačar there, just in the 3rd or 4th wheel. The brake about to be caught, so the 9 men that have dominated proceedings today so far. Tim Rex still fighting on the front. They're about to be overhauled. It's Gianni Vermeersch on the front. So Florian Vermeersch, should I say, on the front, the former runner-up in Paris-Roubaix a couple of years ago, and was up there in Omloop Het Nieuwsblad at the start of the year. So look at Pidcock just on the wheel there. Quinn Simmons moving up as well.
Few others as well. We're absolutely rocking it at the moment, but absolutely sinuous. The way that it doesn't even have to be spoken. You wouldn't want to do so anyway at the moment, because you're going to get a whole load of talcum powder in your mouth being kicked up here by the motorcycle. It's all part of the game, and Tadej Pogačar knows how to play it. They're coming to his rock.
It's going to be, that's a little bit longer up. That's of course on the Pinzuto, which is a little bit further on when we do those loops.
He's done it from here though.
He has indeed. He has launched with 85 Ks to go before. We know that. Still the best part of 2 hours of racing. There you go, Quinn Simmons, the American champion, just up there as well. And gaps are already occurring. And when you're a little bit further back down the line, the visibility, you get all this dust in your eyes, on your lips as well. All those mucous membranes get coated in that white dust. It's not very nice at all, and still 10 kilometres plus of their sector still to go. And just look at how hard it is a bit further down the line.
Who'd have thought the words mucous membranes could actually be brought to us this early in the commentary? We thank Matt Stevens for doing exactly that. 82.7 kilometres and 10.3 remaining of this Monte Santa Maria. And of course Tadej Pogačar is up front. He wants a clean view of the action out there. Paul Seixas wants to be part of proceedings. Paul Lipero drags him into position. Fabulous. All the big names are here as well. Isaac Del Toro, of course, wearing his Mexican colours, the world champion, just tucked in rather nicely. And questions already being asked further down the line here as the gaps open up and we come to one of the crests here, which will leave us into just a little dish. Think of it as a source of milk for the cat before all of a sudden we head down again into a V-shaped valley that will be an absolute nightmare on the transition. Everyone knows how difficult this is going to be, and it's absolutely writ large the respect of this sector because of the names who are up front at the moment.
Yeah, they're piling on the pressures. Jan Christian on the front at the moment, the Swiss rider out of the saddle. Tadej Pogačar, P2. Isaac Del Toro up there as well, Matteo Jorgensen, and there's Paul Sexas, the rider that everybody is talking about. The whole of France are talking about him. He is such a talent. Still, he's not even 20 until September, but there he is for his squad in P4. Jorgensen looking good. Madouas also there as well. Alaphilippe looking good, but the gaps are opening. Pidcock struggling towards the back of this group there for Q36.5. Sorry, Pinarello Q36.5. 82k to go. This race is fragmented.
Yeah, Healy is just out of sorts at the moment. Well, just out of position. I wouldn't say out of sorts at all. Wout van Aert is still making a noise, but it's Matteo Jorgensen who clearly looks like the most comfortable within that group. Florian Vermeersch still doing a great driving job, just offering up a little bit for Tadej Pogačar, who looks like he is about to pounce as we pass by a 10% marker. Well, there's gradients of 16% within this. And of course, add to that the dust and unstable surface and the gap there. Look at this. It's a big one, and some huge names who find themselves. What have we got? 6 riders and then 2 just chasing on in. 7 plus 2 on the chase at the moment. 9, and then everybody else saying, yeah, not 9. Let's see if they can possibly get this together.
Oh, this is astonishing, isn't it? They've absolutely torn this together. That's just on the back for Pinarello Q36.5. Tom Pig just about to latch on the wheel. Alaphilippe is in no man's land at the moment, and then we've got the rest behind. This race is torn apart, and we've still got 9 kilometres to go on this sector, and 81 kilometres to go. So the cream has already risen to the top, and the team responsible, the team of Tadej Pogačar. A big turn on the front by Jan Christian, and he's still riding here, Colton.
Well, you know what? There's an organ grinder and there's monkeys. No disrespect to anybody, but at the moment, the man who's calling the tunes is Tadej Pogačar. He wanted pace, and it's catch him if you can. Stay with him if you can.
Well, it looks like Isaac Del Toro just let the wheel go. It's interesting here that Isaac Del Toro is riding in position 3 rather than position 2. That's fascinating to me. But you do get the sense that any moment, because we've seen it before, time after time after time, that Tadej Pogačar might go, but he hasn't gone just yet, and this is some turn by the Swiss rider. He's reduced the front group to about 10 riders. 2 riders there from Decathlon. CGM as they called, and Tom Pidcock, who just moved on to the wheel of Isaac Del Toro now.
81 kilometres to go. We're bang centre of the Monte Santa Maria. We've already had plenty of sectors. A big one was the Lucignano, where we had a split in the peloton. That was retrieved just before we got to this big sector. And then suddenly a whole raft of demands issued by Tadej Pogačar to actually push on, get him to the front, make sure that once we entered Monte Santa Maria, he would be in a very good place. Well, he couldn't be in a better place at the moment because his teammates, Vermeersch and indeed Isaac Del Toro, just simply pushed on. They've caused a massive split, in fact, in the peloton out front. In fact, it's Jan Christian who's doing the leading. Isaac Del Toro, Tadej Pogačar, they are playing with everybody at the moment, and if you want to be in that game, you've got to have your cards on the table right now, because this is the kind of distance where Tadej Pogačar can actually make it count. It doesn't matter what's gone before, it's what happens from now on, and we still haven't done with Monte Santa Maria. The rises and falls of this evil 5-star sector, which will ultimately bring us to the laps, 2 of which we have to take before indeed we cut up to indeed the Piazza del Campo at the end. Tadej Pogačar, is he going to be denied? It doesn't look like it.
Well, Pogačar is on the front at the moment, the world champion, 3 times winner of this race, has got the man who's won this race too behind him. 2nd place last year, Tom Pidcock, one of the finest bike handlers in the world. Great riding as well by Sexas, Labros and Lepera. 3 riders from Decathlon CMA CGM in the front group. 1 from Visma Lease Bike in the form of Matteo Jorgensen, but he's gone already.
He's detonated. He's gone. He's actually blown the field. Well, it had to be from this distance. We said with 80 to go, he kind of looks like he feels like it, and my goodness, he feels like destroying the field. He's out of the box, don't forget. It's his debut for the season. How frightening must this be for the whole world of cycling when he's in this kind of mood, and he's in the mood.
It's audacious, but he doesn't know anything else, does he? Tadej Pogačar is the definition in cycling of audacity, but look at this behind. Paul Sexas has not given up yet, the youngest rider in the field. Tom Pidcock struggling now. Jan Christian off that big pull on the front, also struggling.
He still goes. Still goes, and it's now, what, 4 or 5 bike lengths, chased by a trio, and then the gap's even longer, Matt, as you say, behind.
It's absolutely incredible. He's determined to go away early. We've seen him do this before. His nose covered in dust, his lips covered in dust as well. But Sexas is dropping Del Toro. The French sensation is winching the world champion back in. What are we witnessing here? Sexas is so good. Jorgensen has been dispatched as well. What a ride by the Frenchman, but what a dominating performance so far by Tadej Pogacar. And we've still, Carlton, got 79 kilometres to go.
Oh, my goodness, what is he doing to the world of cycling? Well, he comes here box fresh, straight out of the box, and it's bling is his thing. When he wears white here, it's not a flag of surrender. It might well be for just about everybody else. This is a question of survival for everybody, and thrival, if it's a word, for indeed our man out front. He has actually just burnt down the castle.
He just doesn't know any other way, just wants to make it as hard as possible. But Sexas now, do you know what? Inch by inch, centimetre by centimetre, is bringing back Tadej Pogacar. What a sensational rider. His whole career is mapped out in front of him. He is a great French hope, and he is getting back on terms with the flying world champion. He's dropped Isaac Del Toro, just ridden him off his wheel. We saw it the other week in France, but look at this. Sexas is about to link up with Tadej Pogacar.
Well, we've seen Tadej Pogacar indeed have a partner in crime at moments like this. It's been Pidcock in the past. It's been a few others. Take any race. He uses them so very well. But in Paul Seixas, he knows that he has somebody who potentially could indeed crush the knuckles. Let's wait and see in a handshake. It's that kind of scenario. Right now, of course, we're seeing a fabulous performance here by Melio Jorgensen. But what have you got when you're faced with this kind of rivalry, this kind of opponent?
What do you do? Oh, it looks his distance him now has gone again. He's squeezed again. It looks like Sexas was put into the red zone. He could almost reach out and touch Tadej Pogacar, but we know Tadej Pogacar has always got something left under the hood. You don't go this far out unless you've got plenty under the hood. He's squeezed again. He's almost playing with Sexas like a cat would a mouse. Oh. But right now, Tom Pidcock is coming back on terms, linking up, and he's got Madouas on his wheel. So Pidcock, Gregoire, should I say.
Yeah, the pair of them doing a phenomenal job. Just getting to Jorgensen, they have to indeed moderate their efforts right now, gather themselves, and then be a fighting force. Check this out. Oh, has he chucked a chain?
Yes, Pidcock chucked a chain earlier on. This is why he lost contact with the wheel. So the chain has just bounced off, as it sometimes happens.
Fighting to get it back on. He just about achieves it. I don't know whether he had to pull to the side of the road. It's in place now.
Yep, he's in place now, but he's in this little group. So 29 seconds is the group with Tom Pidcock.
Well, I think that close-up camera was just to show you the chatter of the surface here. And indeed how unstable it is. You often look at the forearms of riders just to see they are essentially their shock absorbers. What a trio we've got here right now. But what a era-defining rider we have as well out front, looking amazing.
He just makes it look so easy. Sexas was just a bike length off. He now looks rind, and he's just got empty road. 77.7 Ks to go, and the world champion is doing what we've seen oh so often. We have to ask the question, has he miscalculated it? We have to ask this, but did the presence of Sexas there cause Pogacar to go a little bit deeper than he normally would? But he is a man that is constantly on another level. He inhabits a different realm in cycling, and he's now got 34 seconds over the group of Pidcock, but Sexas is still in between. But a bold move there by Sexas, but again, it was almost like the man that flew a little bit too close to the sun. He got burnt and then fell away.
Goodness me.
Icarus, I couldn't remember the man. I said man, it could be anybody, but it was Mr. Icarus. Or just Icarus.
Yes.
Was that his first name, wasn't it?
Actually, there's a spectacular Dutch masters painting called The Fall of Icarus. And it's a landscape. And you think, why is it called The Fall of Icarus? And in the lake, you just see two legs sticking up. But look it up, it's amazing. So is this, 77 kilometres to go. And, well, we're talking artistry, we're talking grandmasters, and to be honest, we're seeing it in the form of Tadej Pogacar. We talk about era-defining. It is just, I feel sorry for everybody else. Comes along once in a lifetime, you might say. Why does it have to be in my lifetime, says the likes of Tom Pidcock. And here we go. It's a question of, indeed, how you deal with a problem like Pogacar. Seixas has got a tow rope almost to Del Toro. He's not going to give him a turn at all, because this is part of the master plan for Tadej Pogacar, to just leave everyone behind.
Yeah. He was clearly, well, there's a lot of respect paid. It looked as if he just turned the screw. We didn't quite see the moment that he actually turned the screw. It panned away to the group behind, and then we panned back to the front. And in almost no time, Tadej Pogacar had opened up a gap of 10 seconds over Seixas. But of course, Isaac Del Toro, the Mexican champion, a prodigy himself, will not give the young Frenchman a turn. And just look at the yawning chasm of a gap that's opened up. Still just under 4Ks of this sector to go for Tadej Pogacar. But the race will now settle from this point on. But this is a very good group indeed. You rightly said Romain Grégoire, Thomas Pidcock and Matteo Jorgensen, 3 very strong riders indeed. But they're just losing time with every kilometre that passes. They can nothing they can do about essentially the motorbike that is Tadej Pogacar out in front at the moment.
80 Ks remaining. It was a little bit more than that. And,
yes,
well, we spoke about, he knows, he's dialed in what he's done before, and kind of knows that there are different ways to win this race, and he's decided that this is the way he's going to try and do it. And at the moment, he's got 39 seconds. Don't discount anything,
nope.
Least of all technicals. That can happen at any time. You can get a puncture, you can get ill fortune. We've seen it so many times in this race. Look how white the tyres are at the moment, but he is holding it absolutely beautifully. He's actually on the limit. You see the way the wheels are skipping around here. He's getting the torque drive in there. Another little skip. He is not hanging around. He wants this from now.
He isn't. You just watch the way he rides these descents as well. He's hardly ever off the hood there. But again, I'm not too sure if he's got a slightly different design on the bars there. But if you drop onto the bars on these corners, you redistribute the weight ever so slightly, so you can manage the bike moving around. So gravel bikes themselves, slightly different geometry. This bike is his normal road bike, but just putting your hands on the drops there would just distribute the weight a little bit evenly, and to get that little bit of traction that you need. So 43 seconds now it is to the Pidcock group, and I think it's around 12 or 15 seconds between Seixas and Isaac Del Toro, who at the moment, Carlton, has got a free ride. But remember, Seixas dropped Del Toro early on, and we know how good Del Toro is. We're looking right now on the screen at the future of cycling. Tadej Pogacar, of course, is going to be around for a long time yet, but these riders have got pretty much the whole of their career in front of them.
If you're going to have a trio here, a trident, to try and just get back at those out front, don't be surprised if any one of these that you're looking at right now, Grégoire, Pidcock and Jorgensen, find themselves on the podium, or indeed challenging later on.
Oh, definitely.
Just one puncture away from indeed making up ground. So, you know, I'm actually picking that because if Tadej Pogacar stays upright, I mean, even when he took a tumble, he won it, for goodness sake.
Well, that because they caught Connor Swift, because remember, Connor Swift was in the mix there as well. Tom Pidcock was. Both of those riders missed it, but he got back on and just rode Tom Pidcock off his wheel quite deep into the race on the climb that's named after him. Actually, it was that he went clear ultimately, wasn't it? But this time, he's just not taking any chances at all. He does this, and he's just got to do one thing, just ride his own pace. There's no complications because this is such a technical race. There's so many other risks and impact factors. The way that Tadej Pogacar diminishes those risks and minimises the other risks, the other potential hazards, are just by being on your own, and then it's just you, and there's nobody else to blame. You
know, the way he manages himself as well as his rivals is something that's absolutely outstanding for a man who's still, let's be clear, relatively young, 27 years of age, at his physical absolute peak, you might say. But kicker. Held it.
He did. He just did a little Tokyo drift there, didn't he, in that corner?
Likes his cyclocross.
He does.
You know, and that can bode very, very well. They're all going to have their moments out there, you know.
Yeah, they certainly are. Well, this group working really well. 45 seconds behind. They've still got Del Toro and Seixas. They've stripped out the time gap there. We think it's about 15 or 20 seconds. We can't actually see. So this little trio, Grégoire, Pidcock and Jorgensen, haven't got second and third place riders in sight. But one would imagine Seixas is going to have to really think about the way he rides this. It's still such a long way to go. Will he be asked, will he be told to just ease off a little bit and maybe use the group with Jorgensen, rest up, spread the work rate? Because even for a rider of the calibre of Paul Seixas, to have Del Toro on your wheel He could be potentially throwing away a big result by just riding on his own in the wind. So Sexas now has to make a decision whether he just waits a little bit and offers up a little bit of an opportunity to rest, because that's a strong group there with Jorgensen and Pidcock in.
I think it'd be wise to do so, because if he had the beating of him on that incline, after about 4 kilometres into the 11 of the Monte Santa Maria, still on it, of course, right now. But what he displayed there on that incline, the drive that Sexas has got, he's got to believe that he can have the beating of all of the rest of them. So why burn himself down now?
100%.
Where he can back out, give away 20 seconds, just be part of the group within which he can then start to hide.
Yeah, because he is still a young rider. I mean, we've seen some tremendous rides. I mean, the European Championships last year was insane. That was such a hard race. So he can go the distance. But again, on a race like this, over this sort of terrain, he has to still be a little bit careful. And he just doesn't want to ride with Del Toro in his wheel. He's got a better chance of finishing runner-up. There we go.
Almost a deity.
San Pogacar, yeah, it's deified in that little plaque there.
Yeah, well, you talk about a golden era. He's just had his hair coloured exactly that. And indeed, now not long enough to poke out the trusses of which through his helmet. But he's got an aero helmet on, which we said, as we noticed it earlier on, was clearly a mark of intent. He wants to have every single, even just the shaving of a micro percentage of a watt going his way. It shows the discipline of the man.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, although he's exceptionally strong, you can just make yourself, it's just optimizing that strength by making sure that you're fully dialed from an aero, from a weight perspective. So nothing taken to chance. And that's a relatively new helmet, I think, that Met have designed. I think it's quite new, the back end of last year. It is their aero offering, and all about being as slippery through the air as is possible.
Here come this trio. They've all got to give as much respect as they can to the surface, but it changes. And indeed, we're now back to a fully metalled surface as we exit the most punishing normally sector, but quite frankly, I always find some of the earlier ones can be even more so, because generally speaking, there's more riders around you who themselves can get it wrong, and then, of course, make you do exactly that. It's a stacked field, but it looks very thin, and all of a sudden we head back to those who indeed are bunched together, and some great names back here as well. Let's remind ourselves. Alaphilippe, super twitchy as always, number 211 there, riding for Tudor, with the red shield upon his shoulders. Former winner here, of course, and, you know, genuinely a showboater, but just could not keep up within the first big questions that were asked, indeed, by Tadej Pogacar and his team. And you could see the way they were riding for it, Matt. They were just powering into it, just grinding the ambitions of other people down behind them.
Yeah, we had Grosjean first, leading into that climb, then a big pull on the front by Florian Vermeersch. And then Jan Christian did about 3 or 4K at full pelt. There's only about 6 riders left. And then the fact that Del Toro was sat in P3 and this man in second wheel, you did get that sense of inevitability that he was going to go. I didn't want to predict it, but again, 80-odd K to go, wasn't it? He went. So still, 70 Ks to go. We've got well over an hour and a half still of racing. And then Tadej Pogacar will be on to these little laps soon. And there's the situation. 30 to Sexas and Del Toro, 46 to Jorgensen, Pidcock, and then 1 minute 35 seconds now to what's left of the peloton. Looks like about 30 or 40 riders. But looking at this, Carlton, Sexas is still riding here, but I think with the gap at only 14 seconds, if I was his DS, I'd say, look, knock it on the head, bang, get some food down here and wait up, because that group is getting on. So really, my advice would be quite clear here. Wait and just coast for 30 seconds. Just let your body just lower your heart rate, take the pressure off. There's not much there's not many opportunities in a race like this where the chain isn't tight, so just give yourself that, get in this group, save energy, because quite clearly from the best of the rest, from what we've seen so far and what we've seen this season, is Paul Sexas. So second place in this race, unless something happens out in front, is a realistic prospect at the moment.
Just under 70 kilometres to go of this amazing race. The Strade Bianche, it is the 20th edition. It's a relatively young race. A relatively young man is Tadej Pogacar, but that doesn't mean he's not short of experience. He started to gain, indeed, notoriety as a teenager, and he has continued and it's been writ large here. He called for action after an early split in the peloton on, indeed, the Lutignano. That was all brought back together. And then it was a question of just driving home the advantage. Something, indeed, a spotlight he is never afraid to step within. And so it was he called for momentum and indeed got it coming into Monte Santa Maria. There was a group, a large group, together at that point, not for long, because Jan Christensen, Isaac Del Toro, they turned on the pace. Tadej Pogačar stayed with it and then indeed left everyone behind. Paul Seixas was the man who stayed closest to him. Isaac Del Toro was the last man from UE Team Emirates to set the pace for Pogačar before he slungshot himself off and up the road. Now Seixas and Del Toro are about to be joined by Gregoire, Pidcock and Jorgensen in a chase group with around 50 riders in the wake on a big wake-up call for everybody. Tadej Pogačar has made his debut of the season today, and he is absolutely imperious in his effectiveness. He is amazing. No getting away from it.
He's absolutely flying here, isn't he? But still, 38 seconds, certainly a gap that can be brought back. But given that it's one rider versus two, and then one rider is going to be, it looks like Seixas is backing off a little bit, just been brought a lovely espresso. And to fuel ourselves for the next 68.4 Ks. It doesn't appear actually that Seixas is easing here, certainly making the group behind work pretty hard. But as I say that, another 2 seconds are taken. So slowly but surely, Tadej Pogačar, as we've seen on so many occasions, is increasing his lead as everybody else settles in for the next hour and a half. And the gap opening up to the group, the big chasing group as well, 146. But the three here, Cole, they're working really well together, aren't they?
They are.
Three strong riders who revel on this sort of terrain. But the way the Seixas is riding here, he's completely whether he's oblivious to the group behind, whether he's lost radio contact, I really think that he should just ease here. But again,
You're worried
there
about
we go.
it, aren't you?
I just don't want him to waste energy.
Or waste an opportunity. Let's wait and see. There's no shame in finishing behind Tadej Pogačar, but he has not won this day yet. And 67.7 kilometres to go. There is some space out there, possibly enough space for Matt's famous paella recipe.
Who knows?
Keep our fingers crossed. We are going quickly, still over 43 kilometres per hour. In fact, that's picked up. We've drifted into the fat 43s right now as we come through wine country here. Who's going to be spraying the fizzy stuff by the time we get to the...
There we go.
Yeah,
I think he must have had comms piped into his ear.
I think so.
Or a very wise director sportif.
Yeah, the wise director sportif says, Matt says.
Yeah, it's just, he's clearly got great legs, just rest. Even these little moments,
Yeah.
Del Toro on the radio now, Del Toro will sit on this group at all.
Yeah.
Del Toro, of all of the riders here, has got the easiest thing to play. He can now aim for that second place, but Seixas will have to work in this group. My advice would be to sit on for 1 or 2 turns and then just roll through. This is a strong, strong group out in front. 2 Frenchmen, an American, a Mexican, and a Brit. Ooh, Seixas nearly took out Tom Pidcock there, just overlapping the wheel. Nothing intentional, of course. And meanwhile, in front, 49 seconds lead on that rather gorgeous bike. And that is the Y1RS is the name of that machine that he's on. The aero offering from Colnago, yeah.
Is this a pitch?
Not a pitch at all. It's just telling you the bike he's on. It's quite how can I say, divisive-looking frame, but I quite like it.
I've got to say, I'm real old school. I love some of the Colnago World Cup machines. Absolutely gorgeous. Love a bit of welding. This is the Villa Chigi Saloncini. Of course it is. Top topiary, I must say.
That's it's a very neat topiary, which you'd expect for this time of the year.
Yes, exactly. It was brought about by the upheaval of the town's urban layout. They said, you're going to have to trim those bushes. And they did.
I tell you what, it's
hello.
Healy.
Come on, Healy. Goodness me. Do you know what? Irishman, of course, very much deeply Irish, despite the fact he was born within an Irish family. in the United Kingdom. But,
Sorry, look at the face of Wout van Aert at the back. He's on the comeback. I think it would be a tall order for Wout van Aert to do some big, but he is on the absolute limit.
Love the way he rides, you know, and it's like, right, I'm going all in. He's come back from ankle ligament damage as well as the break.
Exactly.
It was a really nasty one. And that sort of multiple impact that you have is very hard to recover from, but he's here. For a big man, he goes well, and for a mighty man, he's no mouse as he is. A bloody lion, this man.
If anyone can hear some thumping in the background, it's the Viasto Campo's turned into a discotheque. We've got there's a lot of. I mean, it's great. The atmosphere is just buzzing. It's such a brilliant place. But
It's party time.
it is party time.
Do you think this is Pogacar fans, the travelling Slovenians, who've decided just to spark up the wheels of steel?
Could be, but again, long way to go yet. But look, he's just in full flow now, isn't he? We get a close-up look at the rear mech. They're covered in dust. Full aero setup. And,
quite deep sections, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a limit now to the depth. That's about as far as we can go now in the UCI rules. So they're as deep as you can get. Any deeper than that, and again, they get affected by the wind. So there's lots of new rules and regs. I won't bore you with all of them, but there is a limit to the depth of the rims now. Apart from in time trials, of course.
Yeah, I might have to. I think one of the speakers from our friends, Fabio Baldato, is Wheels of Steel. He's brought his mobile disco here.
That's great, Baldato, a good sprinter, and a DS as well, but as obviously a DJ in his spare time.
Yes, exactly that. His album, which is available on CD apparently, Oil My Rope, is indeed one to watch out for.
Yeah, harks back to the 90s house scene in the Netherlands.
Gel wrappers being cast asunder here. There'll be a fine for that. Got to pay for the holidays somehow. 63.9 kilometres from home. Chasing group at 1:03, and the secondary group about 30 seconds, but it looks like they may well coalesce, which is good. Quinn Simmons, part of the dogged determination being displayed here.
Yeah, Pello Bilbao in this little group as well, rolling through. Wout van Aert is put just right on the limit by that turn from our Irish friends. Oof. Rather a fast taken gel there, or a little bit of food for Isak Del Toro. Again, he can just sit pretty here and just float along. So he does, again, one of those riders who just looks completely at one on his bike, makes it look very easy. There's almost a sense of insouciance about the way that this young rider rides. He just looks so casual, doesn't he?
Insouciance, I like that. Yeah, well shoehorned.
But he almost, I don't know, he just looks like there's a swagger about him.
Do you mean insouciance?
There's two different words. Two different words. Insouciance is the French, and the other one is more of a swagger. The swagger of a rock star.
Let's go for that. We've got the music. Why not? Oh, but what a concert. I guess a concerto that's being waved at us here. I'm talking about the man who holds the baton at the moment. That is Tadej Pogacar. He's got 1:03, and you think, well, still 62 kilometres to go. Yeah, but it's Tadej Pogacar out front, for goodness sake.
Yeah, he's just, again, that initial acceleration took 30 seconds, and now slowly but surely, he's just taking second by second. But that group behind, with Ben Healy and Wout van Aert, are closing on the chasing group with Tom Pidcock and Matteo Jorgen. So the race could come back together behind, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens. As we've seen before, we've never seen a solo raid by Tadej Pogacar fail like this. We've never seen one fail. We've seen him capitulate in the Tour, but we've never seen him in a one-day race fail. I'm not saying this is going to be the day, but in a race like this, anything can happen. But at the moment, he looks composed, looks in control, and doesn't look like, he just looks like he's riding on that limit. Yeah, and unfortunately, for fans of his hair sprut, there's only a little bit out the back, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's
tiniest bit.
Is it enough to reference?
I think it is. A tiny little bit, isn't there?
I bet they left a little gap just for that in the helmet. Do you want it completely aero? No, just a little. Yeah, I need a dorsal fin.
It's a bit of a trademark for him, isn't it? On the Met helmets, on the ones that you can buy in the shops, there's actually a little. It's the Tadej Pogacar sprut and a little logo for the hair bit that you come through. So they've really lent into that. It's really good marketing.
They should actually do a little bit of something you could just stick on, especially for me.
Yeah, like the Bradley Wiggins sideburns when he won the Olympics.
That's right. Oh dear, his chasing group, and what a group. Del Toro, Seixas, we have Gregoire, Pidcock and Jorgensen. And about to swell this group, I think, anyway. We're about 15 or 20 seconds further behind is the Quinn Simmons group, I believe, that are going to try and get themselves back in. Healy's part of that group as well, so let's wait and see.
Yeah, it's a Bilbao is here as well.
As if by magic, we find them now.
Another good. It's the French having some really good young riders. That's Clément Braz Alfonso also in this group as well. So Andreas Kron is also here. He's the rider there for Uno X just on the inside, the Danish rider.
And Quinn Simmons, like as if to say, for goodness sake, shall we try and stay together? Michael Valgren says, no, I'm out of here. This is to try and allow Ben Healy to have a little bit of respite, to do his thing a little bit later on, I'll be bound. Well, Van Aert hands over a little bit of energy here, says I'm not coming through to Quinn Simmons. And I've got to say, Wout, who's also had a little bit of tummy upset and flu, looks slightly harried.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Healy. So now Kron accelerates through. So, yeah, Healy now just sitting on. His teammates just in front, but that gap is closing. Slowly, though. Jorgensen will be aware that Van Aert is behind. Tom Pidcock glances around to see if he can see that little group. Of course, him and Ben Healy were former teammates when they rode for Trinity several years ago now. It seems a long, long time ago when they're in that wonderful British Continental team that's given us so many good riders. But meanwhile, out in front, threading his way beautifully down this descent, poetically, not putting a foot wrong, is Tadej Pogačar, slowly but surely extending that lead from 108 now up to 110.
Yeah, Tom Pidcock, of course, he came out of last season, didn't he, with a podium place in La Vuelta, and described it as indeed the highlight of his career. And I remember the interview at the time saying, what, bigger than some of your amazing victories? He said, oh yeah. He said, because it was so unexpected. Well, it would take something very unexpected right now for Tadej Pogačar to be denied. The ability for this man to hold the gap is outstanding. We know about that. A minute and 12. You know, he can moderate, but at what cost? Let's see. Ben Healy picks up Valgren, great foil, and that's to set this up. We knew it was happening, hiding in plain sight, you might say. But Ben Healy, this terrier mentality that he has, when he locks on his jaws onto that rabbit, there's going to be no way of getting it back.
He's so explosive. You see Quinn Simmons. I mean, Quinn Simmons has got a lot of power on the hood. He got out the saddle, a couple of pedal revs, shook his head, and now he's got Kron on his wheel. So Andreas Kron has latched onto the wheel of Ben Healy. And this is what Healy likes, attritional riding. Yeah. He's happy to just go on the offensive all the time. He can just attack and attack and attack. He might not have the biggest peak power, but what he has is this ridiculous ability to sustain these repeated attacks until everybody just gives in. It's just like these hammer blows to the solar plexus, and eventually they can take no more. Meanwhile, 1:13, so just in a kilometre or so, he's just taking time, just moving that little bit quicker than everybody else. But Healy looks like he could bridge across to the group containing Pidcock, Gregoire Del Toro, Seixas, and Matteo Jorgensen.
I'm just extrapolating 2 seconds per kilometre with the remainder that we have here of 60 Ks. That's an awful lot. It's 2 minutes added onto his tally at the moment. If he was to continue that, there's no need for him to do that. But I think he wants to make this as emphatic as possible. This is not just about impacting the psychology of your opponents on this day, but for the whole cycling world going forward. This is his first competitive racing day.
It is indeed. We've seen this more and more, that some of the true champions don't need warm-up races. They just train and train and train and get themselves into peak condition and then literally just hit the ground running. Great shot there of Kron and Ben Healy rocketing across this gap. Still got a few seconds to make up on this fast section of road. Of course, the distance to travel that little bit further. But it looks as well. I don't think Kron can actually give Healy a turn here. He's in, as you said before, full terrier mode, isn't he? Yeah. Arms at 90 degrees, so ridiculously aero, that head just canted to one side, that distinctive style of Healy. But putting Kron on the rack, I don't think Kron, this isn't tactics, he just cannot give Healy a turn.
Oh dear, you got to love Ben Healy, the way he rides.
Brilliant. He's one of my favourite riders out there. He really is.
It's the sheer cheek of the man. I love it. And quite often you get to a stage and you say, yeah, this is a Ben Healy kind of day. He's done it on Grand Tours, of course. Stage wins in Giro d'Italia, in Tour de France as well. Won't be long before he gets a hat-trick, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, you've just got to admire the sheer devilment of the man. Sector 8 coming up to right now. They're coming thick and fast. Gaps just closed ever so slightly, and look at that. Slightly truncated distance. To no ill effect, I don't think.
No.
They tried to make it less attritional. But of course, when you've got Tadej Pogacar here, you can have any distance you like at all. It's likely to end up in a similar kind of scenario. When he's in the mood and he's got the capability, he's showing he's still at his absolute peak.
Yeah, definitely. Just punching over the top of this little rise. Just using that every time that the road goes up. That's where Healy has the advantage because of his power to weight. A little bit easier on the downhills, and as soon as the road tilts up, he can just push himself up to beyond threshold for a bit and then feather it back. A perfect bit of riding there, accelerating across that gap to swell this group now, and a superb bit of responsive riding there by Kron. Slightly labouring the gear there, but is now in contact, and this is a very decent group now, because once he's recovered from that effort, one would imagine that Kron and Healy will start contributing to the pacemaking, but Isaac Del Toro, one would imagine, it would just drop to the back and continue enjoying his ride in this little group. There you go, gently just tapping Sexas on the back there. I don't think Sexas would expect Del Toro to work, of course.
Of course not.
But Gregoire doing a nice pull on the front there for Groupama. And, of course, looking at almost impassioned here as well, Jorgensen rolling through. Still a long way to go. It's all about measuring their effort here, but they know right now the chance of winning this bike race is slim, but a podium spot in Strade Bianche is not to be sniffed at all.
Let's remind you, of course, that Ben Healy got on the podium behind Tadej Pogacar at the World Championships in Africa, in Rwanda. Brilliant ride by him. And, yeah, for all the cussing from Remco Evenepoel in those World Champs, when he saw it slipping away from him, was waiting for what seemed like an eon for a team car. Do you remember?
Oh, yes. You can understand his frustration, can't you?
Exactly. Bless him. I mean, love watching Remco Evenepoel, but it's Tadej Pogacar's era at the moment. And Ben Healy is kind of used to finishing in his wake, I guess you might say. No shame about that at all. Truly great ride by Healy in the World Championships to get third place last year behind Evenepoel and the aforementioned Tadej Pogacar. But that's possibly his first battle plan today will be to give himself the best finish possible, and that could well be a podium for Ben Healy. Nearest to us on your screen right now.
Tell you what, though, this group are bearing down. Volgren on the back. Yeah, Volgren again. Good to see him back. He's had
different group.
Just had this is group 3 on the road, isn't it?
So about 25 seconds behind the Healy group.
Yep. Yeah, not too far at all. So Volgren, he can sit on. Tried to punt across himself, and as soon as he was caught, his teammate Healy went over. But this is a strong group. Rummaging through his pockets there, Wout van Aert. Gianni Vermeersch just here as well, from a Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, former gravel world champion. And also in here, doing a cracking ride, Jan Christian too, who set that ferocious tempo that ultimately split the group. Pil Bilbao here, so this is a really elite group of riders. And interesting that Christian's actually riding here. That is interesting. He doesn't need to at all. There's no real point. Again, rather than upsetting everybody, just rolling through rather than actually pressing on appears to be what he's doing.
Interesting that bike's being called out as well, even from behind I'm wondering how far it is to the next group, Group 4, if you will. Maybe we'll get that with this camera pan out, because there's a few bikes being called out of the gap there.
Yeah, it looks like it. I don't think they're too far behind, because there's a big group that before about 10k ago, they were only about 20 seconds off the front of this one. So I only think it's around 2 minutes from the front of the race to the big bunch. So still a lot could change in between. But of course, the hardest terrain of the race still to come, and we've got two key sectors. The sector named after Tadej Pogacar, the Colle Plunzuto, that comes at 49.2 k's to go for the first time. Then at 42.9 we do Le Tolfe for the first time, and then we hit both of those sectors at 25.8, 19.1. Sorry, 12.8 k's to go as well. So yeah, a lot of difficult sectors of Starato still to come in this race. 16 sectors, I think. How many sectors? No, 14 all day. totaling 63.1 k's of white gravel
The
roads.
Tadej Pinzultan.
Tadej Pinzultan.
Coming up. Oh, there you are. 95 seconds back to the chasing group, and I think the reason why Tadej Pogačar has been able to stretch his legs ever so slightly here and increase his gap is because the second group is essentially waiting to merge as he comes on to this next white road sector right now. This is a short one, but sharp for some others. Actually, no wind today. There's a little bit of a breeze, just managing to clear the dust, but most of it's being kicked up by this man. 600 meters only, the Monte di Aperte, as he hits it. Vidon, well, good luck with that. He's been well indeed serviced here. In fact, he's got his own car in the gap because it's over a minute, been given permission to come forward. And so he has his service car just behind the race commissaire, behind him directly. There we are, weather conditions, 62% humidity. That is not your chance of rain, it's how much is held within the sky. We might get a few spits and spots at the end, some mixed weather, you might say, on the in the offing. But with just 300 meters of this sector still remaining for this man, he's just grinding it all to dust, isn't he? That's a beautiful picture to show you the, indeed, incline that he is dealing with. It's how does everyone else deal with him? That's the big question. Great to hear from those of you who are enjoying the day. It's a pleasure to have your company. My name's Carlton Kirby. Sitting alongside me, well, a few minutes ago he was. He's gone off for the coffees. Is Matt Stevens. He'll be back shortly. Meanwhile, will these guys regather shortly? I think so, which explains a little bit about the gap that it says 27 seconds between them, but it's not that. This is the third chasing group right now, and the gap is about 7 seconds. They're just about to merge, unless it's another group that is being declared on the graphic here for you. But yes, this is coming back together, so we should actually strip out the third chasing group, unless there is a phalanx of riders. It'd be good to see it, if indeed they are. In fact, that was the declared group. And so it is Chase Group 2 that now becomes one with Wout van Aert. It's good to see him in a good place. For him to have a chance of victory today, I think he'd need plenty of other riders around him not to be there, but also, of course, for him to be in a better place in terms of his retrieval. A few sort of stragglers further back from this Healy group, as you can see. So there is a defined group. In fact, just looking beyond it, still this one's fracturing, and so is the chase. Good work, and Seixas decides to pick it up and push on. He's just about had enough of riding in the company of others. Paul Lapere, his teammate, in fact, it is that pushes on, allowing Seixas a chance to be part of the filtration system that is the gradual grading of this group. Healy stays with it. So they came together and fractured. Oh, Father Christmas is on holiday. It's nice to see. And coming on to the circuit is Tadej Pogačar. So it'll become familiar roads to him. You know, he's so far ahead of some stragglers within the field who are possibly heading for DNF status, I imagine. He may well even lap them, who knows. He's pushed on. What about the pace of today? 43.3, it's just getting quicker. We might actually nudge up to 44 if he keeps this up. His gap to that chasing group is now 1 minute and 21. A group that has formed and then fractured. But it's about Tadej Pogačar at the moment. And you can't keep a good man down. Yeah, why would you want to? You know, when you've got the likes of Matteo Jorgensen here, but also Wout van Aert, his teammate within that group. Yeah, it is something very, very special. They're testing each other at the moment. The American just rolls off the front, wants to give himself some wiggle room, and Ben Healy picks it up. Says, I'm out of here. And this is a question of who can go with him, quite frankly. Jan Christen decides that it's his duty to do exactly that. Ben Healy still prodding and probing. And the likes of Quinn Simmons thinking, why on earth does he keep doing this to me? Tom Pidcock just rolls tempo, just comes up onto the shoulder there of Jorgensen. But still, Tadej Pogačar is indeed not to be denied by the looks of things. Strange things can happen. Sector 9 is in the offing. He's starting in 1600 meters time. This is quite peaky, this one. It's climbing Stella Bianchi. So he's got that to deal with. We'll give you the percentages when we get there, but in terms of percentages, this man indeed has more than a margin. He's in charge of his destiny, and in fact those of the entire peloton, it seems, both indeed those taking on today, indeed those in the world of cycling. He is straight out of the box. This is his season debut, don't forget. However he's trained to get to this point, he looks undiminished in terms of his prowess. He is absolutely remarkable. What a rider. Well, it's his game to play at the moment, and anyone else with cards on the table, you may go all in, but quite frankly, he's usually got the better hand. At the moment, look at that. Calme. Just under 50 kilometers remaining, and Tadej Pogačar is in charge. He called for action on the Monte Santa Maria, and he got it. Everybody, indeed, working for him within his own team. And of course, this place is named after the great man. And at the unveiling, some great riders, the likes of Fabio Cancellara and the rest, fating and acknowledging a man who's defined an era. Tadej Pogačar sector coming up right now. He owns it. He's owned today. And right now, it looks like he's owning the admiration of just about the whole of the world of cycling. He came into this day with a determination to start his season box fresh with a win. And in fact, after a split in the peloton in the Lucignano sector, didn't panic. He had firepower around him. Jan Tristan Izan del Toro, Florian Vermeersch teed him up absolutely beautifully. And when we got to the Monte Santa Maria, it was already fractured because of the power of his team. And then he showed the power of the man himself. He just pushed on. He wanted to be alone when he got to his own sector. And that is where he is right now. He's in charge. He's in the zone. And he's going to be in, indeed, the vanguard of those who will make up the podium. And it looks like it's top step for him. The Colle Pizzolto belongs to this man. He wanted to come here. Indeed, this sector that's been named after him. He owns it, and he wanted to show that. And that's exactly what is happening. There is a chase group. There are a minute and a half. It's swollen as riders look for company in a way of coping with the remainder of the day. But Tadej Pogačar is heading for home, and with a 90-second advantage at the moment, which could possibly be more if he felt like it. Does he feel like it? Yes, and it feels like his kind of day, doesn't it? That's the way this man starts the season, with victory, and it looks like it's heading that way. A lot to be described deeper into this day, but for the moment, it belongs to Tadej Pogačar.
That was great. I saw Forza Tadeo. I've never seen that before. Forza Tadeo, an Italianization of the Slovenian, but he's absolutely romping. But look who's on the front. Another absolute legend of our beautiful, beautiful sport. It is Wout van Aert on the front. Looks like he's in the service of Matteo Jorgensen today. This group is swelled, as you said. Kron, Van Aert, Vermeersch, second wheel at the moment. Good riding by the Belgian. His first year with Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, but it looks like the gap is coming down ever so slightly. Only a couple of seconds as Vermeersch launches on the inside, goes past his fellow Belgian. It's splitting again, but Isaac Del Toro looking good, seated as Tom Pidcock moves up the inside as well. Gregoire also there. So it is Vermeersch who's just got better and better over the last few years. Remember, up there in Paris-Roubaix as well, such a versatile rider, and been given the freedom in this race to lead, and is currently P2 on the road and expressing himself beautifully in front of this amazing crowd.
Fabulous, isn't it? What a fighting we have got here, and what fighting we've got back here as well. Good to see Wout van Aert giving himself some slip room and slipping off the back. It's Quinn Simmons. The grind goes on, and here comes Seixas as well. He is not to be denied a decent finishing position today, and who knows what story might be told by the end of today. Tom Pidcock trying to stay with it, and is in wheel 4 at the moment, that familiar rolling, rocking and rolling style. But Seixas takes this little crest within this sector, and in fact they're about to exit it. Well, I have to say, Tadej Pogačar they're still stuck within it. And therein, it's almost like we have to describe two races at the moment, that of Tadej Pogačar and that of everybody else.
Indeed. Well, 5 seconds were taken off his time, but again, he didn't need to attack that climb. He needed to ride it in as linear a fashion as he can. But that acceleration from Vermeersch has split this group and taken back a few seconds, 800 metres or 700 metres to the top of this man. Great low shot of these tyres running over this gravel as the dust kicks up. A wonderful, wonderful shot. And also you get the real sense of the speed that Tadej Pogačar moves. The flag of his country waved overhead. So many Slovenian fans here in Tuscany urging on their champion. And again, he extends that lead as well. From behind, all we're going to see is this staccato style of racing. These accelerations, then smooth accelerations. But Seixas tried something there, couldn't quite split it. He doesn't want to do too much too early. But this is only the first ascension of this climb.
What an amazing shot. Congratulations to our production team. This is fabulous. Just keeping this this picture painted for us constantly. Tadej Pogačar, there he is. Only Pogačar. He's Mr. Back-to-back, isn't he? Back-to-back-to-back-to-back. Potentially.
Could be your first back-to-back-to-back. But look at everybody else. Ben Healy just dropping off the back a little bit.
Yep, to the
that
back.
Big effort would have hurt the legs a little bit, but he's absolutely fine. Good group riding as well by Decathlon AG2R. No, sorry, CMA CGA.
Sorry, a Twix caught you there, didn't I?
It did. Keeping fueled up for a double bill today. It's been brilliant though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The crowd has just been out to get us a little coffee and a chocolate treat, and the Václav Campo is absolutely full of fans. It really is buzzing here.
Yeah, it's
and we've got just about an hour and 5 or 6 minutes of action still to go. And here's the young Frenchman, happy to ride on the front here. It's a big group. Remember, he's got 3 teammates here. This is what's quite interesting. Seixas happy to pull on the front. I mean, I admire the eagerness, but he's got to be really mindful. There's so much experience, so much firepower in this group, that why not use your teammates rather than just dragging this group along? Because they're just sat in the slipstream here. Interesting of Seixas.
I think he's feeling that, you know, everyone's under his cosh at the moment. It may well be a secondary spot, but is he just showing his lack of experience, or is it?
There's no need for him to ride.
He's so eager, isn't he? That's the point.
Yeah, I love the hunger of this lad, and again, he's never ridden Strade Bianche. This is all a new experience, and even a rider of his class, and the way he's been riding recently, he'll get these big adrenaline dumps, and it will be new for him to manage this, because he is one of the. He's a great rider with so much potential, but I just wonder if he's right now, and I'm going to be overly critical, doing a little bit too much, because right now, if this was on a steep climb, yes, put them under pressure, but on a flatter section, on a plateau, he doesn't need to ride. He does not need to ride here. And again, the gap is going out 1 minute and 43 seconds, so he's not making a difference in the lead. All he's doing is expending a little bit of extra energy, and he's got 2 teammates with him that could be doing that role. If they want to ride, you know, he should be attacking and waiting a little bit later. But again, that's just a little bit of an experience. I'm not taking anything away from the lad, but it's our job to look at the race, look at the situation, and form an opinion on it.
Do you know, he's taken nothing from the car other than a chat. And you can't get a sticky chat.
You can't.
He doesn't need anything else, quite frankly. That's the point, isn't it? Do you need anything? No. Do you want anything? No, apart from the victory. Well, it's heading his way by the looks of things. Minute and 46. Now, what did we say earlier? Could be two and a half minutes. Well, he's heading that way, Matt.
Just going to look back and see what the time gap was for last year's edition of this this beautiful race. Let's have a little look. So last year he won by 1:24 from Tom Pidcock, but again he left Pidcock quite late in the race, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
And then 2:12 over Tim Wellens. That was your podium. Healy 4th, Bilbao 5th, who's also in this group behind.
There's your sign.
That's my favourite sign. Forza Tadeo. Michael Vaughan as well, 8th last year, likes this race.
I like this race.
I do. It is. People often ask, what's your favourite race, Matt? And it's this and Flanders in terms of single days.
Do you know what? In terms of single days, I'm absolutely with you. And in terms of stage races, not Grand Tours, I've got to say Tirreno Adriatico. You can't beat it.
No, I think you're right. And also we live that race as well. We're lucky enough to live it, so you feel it in a different way. To get close to it, nestle up to the race,
exactly.
Feel its texture.
I like the word nestle. Yeah, it's a welcoming. It's a welcoming
totally.
word.
It's a safe word.
It is. Yes.
Anyway, forgive us. Forgive us. Let's take a breath.
Yes, we move away from our bosomic descriptions, and indeed we get back to this. 44 kilometres from home, and 1:46.
Yep.
Tom Pidcock, part of a phalanx of great riders, and in any other era, this would be our focus. But they're in arrears at the moment by a big margin.
Yep. About an hour to go now, and it's Wout van Aert. Again, when you look at... Wout van Aert's been riding well, but clearly Matteo Jorgensen is their protected rider. They've only got 2 riders here, but he's keeping a lid on this lead. Again, we've seen it before, Carlton, and we don't wish anybody in any bike race bad luck, but races as technical as this, as demanding as this, when the red mist descends, we've seen it before. So they keep the pressure on. Anything can happen out in front. Even this man on his own, this ridiculously gifted, prodigious talent, the likes of which I don't think we'll probably ever see again, maybe not even in our lifetime.
There we go.
You still have to keep the light burning behind. You still got to ride in a positive fashion, because, as we've seen before, absolutely anything could happen as he passes underneath a flag of himself and onto this sketchy little descent that's coming up in just a couple hundred metres' time.
Yeah, which will take him into the next sector of Strade Bianche. In fact, it's just about to give way to it right now, and here we go. 1,100 metres then of sketchiness, and this is one of the rougher roads that we have to deal with. Just watch some of the curves that he's got to take on. He's not hanging around, you know. He's not sparing the horses, even at a moment like this. Such is his confidence and belief. Oh, little twitch, and there may well be some more. There are some sections. These little dips actually account for a lot. He's able to pick every single apex that he wants to, however, and just smooth out, if you like, some of the bumps and bends that he has to deal with. But he's still taking this probably quicker than any of those who are going to take it on behind him. This is a nasty one. Seen this before. Watch the drift over towards a space which no longer exists in the Armco, and away he goes. Now this, may I just say, is possibly going to be anthemic. Let's listen to the crowd around him, shall we?
And that is a ringtone. Fantastic, isn't it? It's absolutely fantastic. A cacophony of noise, a wall of sound. And this is the first of 2 ascents of Le Tolf.
Not just any old orphany. No.
A little Pantani Il Pirata just on the right-hand side there.
Look at the adulation.
It's brilliant. No, this is not Sexas who's going.
His teammate, Sexas, is still within the pack. He's just trying to make his way up. This will be a wheel for him to follow. It's Lipera that's kicked off the front here. There it is. Lipera, and he's being marked out, of course. Jan Christen wants to make sure that nothing silly happens here. And we're back to the cacophony. Wow.
It's going to be deafening. He's going to have tinnitus by the time he gets to the top of this climb. I've been in situations where the crowd are yelling that close. I mean, look at the proximity. There is no sport like our sport, Carlton, where you get that close. But also there's still that respect there as well. We always talk about the respect, but it's been shown. And there's no idiot stepping out in front of him there. That was utter respect there for this great champion by the Tifosi, and this should be applauded.
Yes.
For like making the race what it is. Without the crowds, our sport is nothing. Yes. But when they show that amount of respect, it's enormously important.
Agreed, 100%, wholeheartedly. This is fractured. Is that Wout van Aert who's trying to make a bridge here? Matthew Jorgensen has been very much part of it, and the camera bike playing his own little role here. Meanwhile, this is strung out, and it shows you the importance of a good result here If Tadej, oh gosh, that was a bounce bead on.
It's the last thing you want under the wheels.
Yeah, who knows? That can get between wheel and frame at any moment. And we've got a slight divorce here at the front. Shows you willing within this pack. That's great racing.
It does indeed. It is Lepera on the front. And Christian has come back from that big effort on the front, almost terminal effort. But Wout van Aert leading into this climb.
Bilbao at the back
Yeah,
here.
Bilbao
That's good
at
to
the
see. Oh, here comes Healy. Doesn't want to miss out here. Wants to make sure he's in a decent position. The encroachment of the crowd here showing their enthusiasm, but being too wide, it's difficult almost to batter your way through this one. Battling is what this is all about, and the man at the front is Wout van Aert, none other than. He often gives himself some slippage room at moments such as this, but what a brave ride by him.
This is more than it's more than a brave ride. It's an accomplished ride, isn't it? There's a Tom Pidcock trying to launch. Healy's down!
Oh,
Hit
he's just
by the
been
crowd.
nudged. We said too wide is a difficult thing to maintain. He was trying to get his way through, just takes a tag from a crowd, gets himself down, but he's back on the bike right now. Still lost a lot of momentum, but Pidcock it is that kicks on through the crowd here. Is it going to be Pidcock versus Pogacar yet again? Gosh, we've seen this script before. There's work still to be done, but what a day.
Well, it did they're back up again. It looks like the crowd lifted them back onto their bike. Healy was definitely down, or Volgren, and we didn't see it, but they miraculously haven't lost a spot. I don't think they've ever seen anything like it. Let's have a look at that again in slow motion. It is Healy, because he's the most foremost rider. He bounces from one side of the road to the next. There you go. Hits somebody.
Yeah. Slews over. Gets pushed up.
Dabs his foot.
Pushed up on the side.
And then pushed back, and he's back in the mix. Well, there we go. We're going to have a look at the aerial shot here, but he's back in contact here. This is the moment again. Oh, we're going to see that again. Just ricochets across, and thankfully doesn't actually come down.
And he doesn't lose too much momentum. You know, for a light rider, that's a gift, isn't it? Just being able to get back on, get the traction again, not hold up too many places, because it was a slow section, and was able to just remount and get on with it. And in fact, helping himself here is Tom Pidcock.
Yeah, Tom Pidcock, that big acceleration up the inside. And as you said, there wasn't a lot of room. In fact, he was helped by the fact that Wout van Aert strung that group out so much they're essentially just in double formation or single file. But the way that Tom Pidcock accelerated and found a little bit of space and has broken clear, we're in a very similar situation to the one we saw last year. Although the first and second place were out in front together. And there's the power, 400 watts over this particular section. And back onto this really short section now, narrow, dusty, only 700 meters. And the lead is stabilized at 1 minute and 51 seconds. So 10 seconds taken back by a flying Tom Pidcock. But it is a big, big gap to close. But I tell you what, he's certainly trying. Tom Pidcock always entertains.
Yeah, exactly. Real showboater, I think it's fair to say. I don't mean that dismissively at all. He's somebody who likes to put on a show, if only for himself. And Tom Pidcock rides a bike with joy. And in fact, when joy is stripped away from him, if he's denied being able to go and play gravel races, cyclocrossing, a little bit of a kick on a mountain bike, why not? He probably just puts his shilling in the old fairground rides if he fancies it. And for that reason, we absolutely love Tom Pidcock. He wants the joy of racing, and he's showing that today.
Yeah, he's a sort of rider that you're 100% just echo that sentiment, that needs to be able to express himself on a bike. No cyclocross this year for Tom Pidcock, but give him a little bit of mountain biking, let him choose and select a race program. You touched on the fact that he's saying that the biggest ride of his life, of his career so far, was that third place in the Vuelta. And I don't think there's anybody quite as versatile as Pidcock. When you factor in the World Championship cyclocross win, the mountain biking Olympic Championship, and a podium in the Grand Tour, nobody in the male side of the sport has ever done anything like that before. So he stands alone in terms of that ridiculous versatility across Grand Tours and single-day classics.
Well, the reason he said that the Vuelta was such a big result for him was because it was so unexpected. He said he surprised himself, and it's that versatility that he seeks. It just kind of underscored exactly your point, Matt, and, you know, all credit to him. And very much part the animator within this group as well.
Yep. He's obviously feeling good. He's been reeled in, though, because there's somebody called Paul Sextat who seems to want to bring everything back in.
Do the same. He wants to do a Tom Pidcock.
He is. But look at the way that Del Toro is riding. He's never more than 3 or 4 riders back.
Here goes Ben Healy again. He can't help himself, and he's sprung a leak in the ship that is sailing, trying to close down this gap, and he has gone. He's punctured their ambitions, has he? Let's see if this one can stick for him. He wants to do what Pogačar has done, all on his own, and indeed just be alone out there. He's got Seixas on his case. Don't for 1 minute don't think that Del Toro has finished for the day, despite the efforts that he's put in. Jan Christen has been very animated, but well, a challenge can come from anywhere, but Ben Healy wants to pose one right now, and here he goes.
He is the cycling equivalent of a shaken-up can of Coke, isn't he? He just keeps on fizzing, doesn't he? The most effervescent rider out there will keep on going. But ultimately, he's clearly feeling good. He's got Volgren there as well to support each other. Remember, both of these riders from EF Education, Easy Post, were in the top 10 last year. So both are versed at this race. They know how to ride it, but that will not be the last attack by Ben Healy. That's what he does best. Numerous attacks, and ultimately, for him, one would ultimately stick. And how about that for a bit of art?
Absolutely fabulous. Well, look at that. This tracking shot is just something to behold, isn't it? It's absolutely glorious.
God, look at that.
Fabulous, isn't it?
Parting of the waves. That is brilliant, isn't it? Italian flags, Slovenian flags, Flandrian flags, just fans of this beautiful, beautiful sport.
And look at all the heads just watching the rider. There's no hello mum, I'm on TV moment here from these fans. They just want to see this man and say that they have seen him.
Breathe in the dust.
Yeah.
That's what this is, capturing the essence of our sport. Okay, the modernization as well with all the phones, but look at the delight, the emotion, the genuine joy that those people are getting watching this man perform. In fact, every rider that passes will get the same sort of reception.
It's euphoric, isn't it?
It is. It is.
36.4 kilometres from home. 1:46 is what Tadej Pogačar has. There is a chase group of 14 who have shaken out some very notable names from those who could stay as close as possible to him. Pello Bilbao has drifted off the back. Bras Alfonso likewise has gone indeed that way. Tell you who is outstanding within this group, apart from, well, as well as Ben Healy, of course, Tom Pidcock as well. We have Del Toro here, Jan Christen. Wout van Aert has ridden beyond himself almost constantly. He is showing that he's absolutely getting himself back to a fantastic place. He's got a teammate here in the form of Matteo Jorgensen, who's already showing a great deal of strength as well. And this assembly of a chase keeps changing in terms of its roster. Ultimately, of course, the very best will out, and I've got to say that Ben Healy, if he's not actually lighting the fire, he's retrieving the gap. He is the most animated of everyone who's back here.
He certainly has. Well, he's actually recruited Volgren here, thankfully, to move through in front. Good to see Volgren back in form after a couple of... It's such a horrific injury about 3 or 4 years ago. But fair play to the EF team. He actually had a contract with the Continental team for a year just to get back into flow of racing. It was a catastrophic leg break, and now is back to near his best and fighting it out with the finest riders in the world. But it is the Dane trying to sew this back together. The counter-attack, the dangerous counter-attack by Seixas has drawn Jorgensen and Tom Pidcock clear. This is a good little counter-attack, but I tell you who's rode a brilliant race as well are the two riders from UE Team Emirates, Christian there and Del Toro, has marked absolutely every move. He's just floating around this bike race, he really is.
Don't be surprised if it's a UE 1-2-3 today. They have been playing a very, very clever game. They've had to, indeed, of course, burn their own energies, but right now they are using a tow rope on those who are out front of them. They're latching onto them every single time, as you said, Matt, but don't for one moment think they won't be thinking about a decent result for themselves at the end of this day.
Indeed. And one of the teams we do have to give a shout out for as well. Okay, they've got Seixas in this front, is Paul Lepera and Jordan Labrosse. Decathlon CMA CGM. I'll get it right eventually, maybe by the Vuelta. I've ridden a blinder. One of the only other teams with 3 riders in the front of this bike race, 2 for EF. We've got 2 for Visma Lease bike as well. But well done to Decathlon. Absolutely superb stuff. They can just sit back now, and it's EF who are on the back foot. It's a big effort, though, to close this gap. Healy just counter-attacks straight off the back. When there's a little bit of a drag, Volgren's done his work. And as it's now Healy dragging the rest back into contention, a real spiteful turn of speed by the Irishman. But what he doesn't want to do is drag everybody back. But also, if he doesn't, he might be throwing away a podium place in this race. But meanwhile, the gap has come down to Tadej Pogačar, but he's got so much of a buffer here. I don't think there's any danger of him blowing or anything. He just needs to maintain his own effort and make sure he gives it his all on the climb, so he can use that buffer to his benefit and actually have a little bit, not where he coasts, but where he can just back off a little bit, back from approaching that threshold bit of riding, knock it off, and then go again. So 1:28, still a comfortable lead.
Look at that, 80 kilometres solo in 2024, broke his own record for the longest solo in the race. So we were kind of knowing that he was going to have a dig. It was a question of when, and of course it was pretty much at the same point.
It was. It was when he was on.
There we are, 46.3 plus this time by in the breakaway. That is an awful long time to be on your own.
He's used to it. I mean, I've been lucky to get the stat of how many miles, how many kilometres in breakaways Tadej has had over the years that's taken him to success. I bet he spent the equivalent of a few days out in front on his own. Yeah, he is incredible. We've seen the social media stuff of him recently. The big race that he wants to win this again, of course, but the one that he wants under his belt, a Roubaix, and of course, above all, I think, Milano San Remo, and has already set the record on the Poggio, riding behind the scooter, isn't he? He is so focused, wants to hoover up all of the monuments, and I think there's only one man on the planet that can do that, and we're looking at him right now.
Amazing. I wonder if he's ever going to go track racing. We need to worry.
You never know. But he just looks so composed.
He
Okay,
does.
the lead has dropped, but that's because there's been really sharp accelerations, and the last thing he needs to do is that he'll lift it on the climbs, because that's where he can really make the difference. But he's got time on his side. He doesn't need to panic. He's been in this position so many times before. He knows exactly what he needs to do. So use the bits of the course to actually ship a bit of time, just relax, and then go all in for the final half an hour of this race. But he looks almost effortless, the way that he turns those pedals. This is Healy has actually been detached. Again, those big sharp efforts amongst this sort of company are clearly paying here for Ben Healy.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's a long day if you're starting to struggle. Almost as long. You know, we were talking about team names. Do you remember Androni Giocattoli, Venezuela, Zydemek Di Caoli?
How can I forget it?
I remember
Gianni Savio's team, of
the
course.
great Gianni Savio, the little prince. I remember him saying, when you mention my team, I expect you to mention the whole name. It's like, it's
I used to love it.
impossible.
It's like a poem.
Yeah.
It was like a segment of Ulysses, wasn't it?
It was. James Joycean.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I tell you what, Mario van Sevenen's done a good ride. We haven't
He
even
has.
spoken about the rider from Soudal Quickstep.
Yeah, well, you picked him on your head-to-head earlier on.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
No, he's a very good climber. Very good climber. He's a rider that can really tolerate a lot of punishment as well. He's in that little chasing group. Tom Pidcock bites the top off a gel. Squirts down its contents.
Better than a bat. Tribute there to Black Sabbath.
Oh, of course, yeah. But apparently legend has it that didn't actually happen,
No,
did
it
it?
didn't.
It was all a bit of urban myth.
Yes, exactly.
But Ben Healy back in contact now.
Yes, let's move from myth to reality, shall we? Ben Healy is here, and that means business. I often describe EF Education EasyPost as kind of the neutrals team, because they always produce spectacular results, sometimes from real left field. But in Ben Healy, they've found something a bit more predictable, haven't they, in terms of, I mean that in a great way, in terms of his delivery. He is a fabulous man.
No, he's one of the most exciting bike riders out there, because he can do a little bit of everything. He likes to go long. The thing about Ben, he's remarkably calculated in terms of his bike setup, etc. But what he is, within this focus and calculation about his kit, his bike, his feeding strategies, he'll do what he wants. He's quite unpredictable within that, so it's almost like a paradox, because he rides the way he wants. He's ridiculously aggressive. Got punted out the back there because he gives absolutely everything, although a lot of the way he prepares is, you know, there's no stone unturned. Sometimes the way he races is beautifully unpredictable. I like the way that he races. He's one of my favourite pure racers out there. He is a thoroughbred bike racer, and year on year, just getting better and better and better. And it won't be too long, one would imagine, before he gets the set. But remember, 9th overall in the Tour last year as well, which is completely unexpected. Just went for stage wins and ended up 9th overall. So
podium in the world.
Yeah, brilliant.
30 seconds, just about, is the gap between the Healy group and indeed the main pursuers here. Jan Christen and Isaac Del Toro, teammates. Here they are at the back of this group. That's by design, I'll remind you. They're saving as much energy as they possibly can because they'd like second and third, quite frankly, behind their teammate, Tadej Pogačar, who's out front by 1 minute and 21. Romain Gregoire is part of that group, Paul Seixas as well. We have Tom Pidcock, Gianni Vermeersch and Matteo Jorgensen, but all in the wake of this man. It's another wake-up call to everybody as this season starts with him box fresh and indeed heading apparently for victory with 30 kilometres to go. Let's wait and see. As 1 minute and 22, strange things can happen, particularly in this race, so nothing is absolutely a given. But given his results and indeed the way he starts the season, do not be surprised if he delivers. Chasing in that third group is Jordan Labrosse, Paul Laipera, Ben Healy, Michael Valgren, Van Sevenant, Wout van Aert, amazing after his long road back from injury. Andreas Kron as well. But with 30 kilometres to go, Tadej Pogačar is in charge of his own, yet again, chapter of Strade Bianche.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying. We saw that stat there. The fastest Strade Bianche was about 40.8 k's an hour, I think, but we're running now at 42.8, so we are 2 k's an hour ahead of the fastest ever edition, should I say, of Strade Bianche. And so he's, again, it is a beautiful, it's ideal racing conditions. Not too hot, not too cold, hardly a breath of wind, only a little bit of a breeze. And that's and an aggressive race as well. The way that UAE Team Emirates set him up with 80 k's to go, so only just over halfway, for crying out loud. This man is imperious. He really is. Okay, we've still got 30 odd k's to go. Let's have a look at Siena.
Well, Siena is, of course, our starting point and our ultimate destination. Finishing, of course, up the hill, Piazza del Campo. Well, we have seen some amazing contests up that final series of ramps. We've also seen solo wins as well. You're never quite sure how it's going to pan out. Never a bunch sprint, but as near as damn it on occasion. Selective sprints we have had. But selection, has it already been made? That's the question.
Yeah, the gap is coming down, but he looks really composed. I'm trying to think back, Carlton, to the last time we saw Tadej Pogačar in any severe state of distress, and it was about 3 years ago. It was in Lombardia when he started to get cramps.
That's right.
With about just on the approach to the climb up to the Città Alta in Bergamo, and he got cramps. He had to drop back to the car, get some vinegar, put in water, and he said he had to ride in a slightly less aero style just to get rid of the cramps. That's the last time we've seen him in any sort of distress, save for the capitulation in the Tour that we know about. But he seems to be riding in a really composed fashion. And again, despite the best, I mean, one man against six or rolling through, you're not going to just build that time gap. But also, he knows that gap. He'll be fed that information constantly. He knows the sector's still to come. And by the look on his face, I think we all know Tadej Pogačar reasonably well just by the body language. He does look to be still riding hard. Of course he has to at this sort of level, but within himself. I still think he's going to back off a little bit now. And then if that gap does start to come down, he's still got time. He only needs to win this by 30 seconds. He doesn't need to destroy himself in the process. And what he knows not to do on such an unforgiving course, run at this unrelenting pace, is to overcook it. So he's got a good gap, a good buffer. I think he's riding within himself at the moment.
Tom Pitcock always finished his Strade Bianche in the top 5. He was 5th in 21, then winner, then 4th, 2nd from 23 to last year. That's an amazing record.
It is. It's really impressive, isn't it?
Amazing. It was a stuck record, you might say. I also noticed that Jan Christen is supporting Isaac Del Toro here. Just been back to the car, getting bottles, handing it to his man. So next choice out of this group is quite clearly Isaac Del Toro, to rest up as much as he possibly can, be serviced by Jan Christen as much as possible. A 1-2 for the team and possibly a 1-2-3, you never know.
Yeah, I think a 1-2. I think a 1-2-3, given purely how well Sexas is going. I think Sexas is looking at a podium spot unless he completely mucks things up or just blows.
Yeah.
I think what we saw early on, again, that was a long time ago in the race, but every time he's made a move, it's had an impact on the race. I think he's just got that grunt, that kind of strength on the climbs. We've seen it over the last few weeks. He's already had wins, of course. And the way that he just rode Matteo Jorgensen off his wheel in France the other day was ridiculously impressive. He almost rode him off his wheel by mistake. He is a real talent. This is where the team car and his management from the team car, they're going to have to really keep eating, keep drinking, keep eating, keep drinking, keep that fuel topped up. Because for me, the man who's eyeing second spot today out of all of these riders is Paul Sexas. He just doesn't want to muck it up by just doing a little bit too much. But then you just never know. Del Toro, if he's that rested, might be that little bit quicker because, of course, Sexas is riding. He's rolling through. It's all to play for the final steps on the podium. But as we look at the time gap from 1:17, Tadej Pogačar almost inevitably has stolen back just a few seconds. It's now 1:23 and 2:03 to this group on the road.
What a day it's been here. What a beautiful day as well in this part of Italy. It's hard to kind of quantify just how spectacular the Piazza del Campo is. If you ever get a chance to come to this part of the world, then, make sure that you actually come along and enjoy it. We kind of eulogise the place, Matt, but it's very much become a crucible of our sport, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's an amazing location. Just on its own, Siena is super special. One of the places that saw really the birth of the Renaissance. If you look back at the history of this place, it is incredible. Some of the most important art in the world came from this very place, was born here. But then to have the celebration of our sport here, of course, Italy has always been in love with the bicycle, has always been in love with cycling as a sport. And to see the Tifosi here and the way that Siena embraces this race. This race is in its 20th edition now, but it feels like it's been with us for a century. That's how natural it feels here. And Siena is the home to Strade Bianche. And I don't think you could have this race. This Siena is synonymous with Strade Bianche. You couldn't have it anywhere else, Carlton. If I don't think you could. This is it now. It's like the Via Roma in Milano San Remo, isn't it? You couldn't have it anywhere else.
You couldn't have it anywhere else. And we wouldn't want it to be any other way. I remember when it first started, and this is a young race. This is the 20th edition of it. And it almost instantly ingratiated itself in the hearts and minds of everybody associated with cycling. It was recognised instantly as a fantastic venue. And so it has proven to be. It's been remarkable.
Yeah, it has. And it was, again, 20 years ago, there was no such real thing as gravel. I mean, the idea of gravel racing, gravel riding, it was more like, oh, this is gravel, but it wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
And it was such a different sort of race as well. And it was a breath of fresh air. And has formed its own clear identity and has its place on the calendar. And I know that for many, many professional riders and fans alike, it is their favourite race, and has been for a little while now. It is a beautiful race, so exciting. Run through some of the most stunning countryside you'd ever wish to see.
Yeah, and on days like today, when the weather has blessed us as well. Yeah. It doesn't take away from the drama of it at all.
No.
In fact, I think the drier the surface, the dustier it gets, and that has its own skill set required to actually cope with it. Check this out, Matt. Jan Christen just off the back ever so slightly at the moment as the pace kicks up.
Yeah, I wonder if he dropped back for some fuel or something there. I don't know, we're not too sure, but I think he's okay because he's not having to ride here, and his Vermeersch is on the front. but he's just linked back up to the back wheel of Isaac Del Toro. But Vermeer's driving hard on the front, Jorgensen just behind him. Then we've got Gregoire, and then his fellow countryman riding for a different team, Paul Sexas. And then also in that group, the British rider Tom Pidcock, looking good there in that new livery of Pinarello Q36.5. I must admit, I'm a big fan of their new kit for 2026.
Yeah, it's. What do you think of the NSN cycling team kit?
It's nice. It's quite nice.
Yeah, it's a. But then again, so is a Quattro Stagioni pizza. Bit of everything in there, I think.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Madison Genesis kit, the British team that from the Tour Series back in the day.
There we are. Yes.
Bit of a British throwback there for you.
There it is, yeah,
Very
yeah,
niche.
why not? Yeah, I regard myself as a bit of a British throwback myself. Yes, 23.4 kilometres to go. Matthew Jorgensen is putting on the hurt at the moment. Wout van Aert no longer part of the front group, just slightly divorced at the moment. He's in good company. Ben Healy and Michael Volgren also, indeed, drifted back ever so slightly after some very sprightly efforts by both Volgren and Ben Healy. They'll be looking after each other, hopefully for a decent finish. But we've now got a grading of the grains, as they say, and right now it's Paul Seixas who I think both he and Tom Pidcock possibly as favourites from this group. Don't take away from Isaac Del Toro as somebody else who can kick on here, but I think that might be your top five. No disrespect to anybody who's part of that group. They could all get themselves a podium.
Well, Del Toro has ridden a brilliant race. He really has, but he hasn't actually had to put his nose in the wind. He shut a couple of gaps down, but it was Christian who did the pacemaking, and then Del Toro's just ridden as a brilliant foil, shutting things down all the time, has never been out of position, is immediately reacted to any other threats that he's snuffed out. But then he's had a relatively, and I say this because this is a hard attritional race, he's had a relatively easy ride, and he is one of those riders with ridiculous snap and explosivity. So I would say that he's marginally maybe the favourite to get the runners-up spot, but Paul Seixas had to be not too far behind, or maybe that's the real battle, I think. Don't rule out Tom Pidcock. I think those three are my favourites out of that group anyway.
Well, you've just seen every time since 2020 Tadej Pogačar begins his racing, it ends with a win. Goodness me. Well,
yeah,
if you wondered why he was odds-on favourite for today, look no further.
It's some record, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's absolutely incredible. That 100th win, of course, in the Tour de France last year. And as you say, still a relatively young man. 2.6 Ks to go to this next sector up this another little punchy club. You just see there's that first little proper grimace. You don't often see grimaces, but again, this is where Tadej Pogačar can make that little bit of a difference.
I don't think it was a grimace. I think his team spoke to him on the radio because they got an up-the-nostril shot. They were probably saying, we can see right up your nose, and a smile came across his face.
I'm not going to rule anything out. I'm not going to rule anything out. Look at this lovely shot through the cypress trees here.
Gorgeous.
And the rainbow bands in this early spring day here in Tuscany. And that's where we are on the route.
You know, the cypress trees in Tuscany, they're a bit like the poplar trees of France, aren't they? You know, there are other trees, but in France they're quite popular.
Christian, has he been distance on this descent again? He's dropping off the back quite a lot. I mean, I don't know whether that was just technique.
I don't know either. I felt he was struggling just a little bit, but he's been doing an awful lot of work. He's also been servicing his Del Toro. So he's been going to the car, getting him drinks, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think Del Toro, when he was in his moves, he was never at the head. But I think Christian was a bit more of an animator in this race. What do you think?
Here we go. We're going to see what's happened here. Something's happened.
Is it a chat?
Has he had... Did he...
Finish the sentence.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking. I'm just... Because they're giving us a slow motion replay just for some reason. But maybe it's just some nice artful shots.
I think so.
I think no, there he goes. He wants a drink. That's it. That's why he's off the back. But after 20 Ks to go, they can't take any more. So they're coming into the last couple of Ks before they need to feed. So that's probably what he's doing.
It's for him and water carrying for Del Toro.
Definitely.
Because he got a bottle for Del Toro a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Good spot, Matt. Here we go. Are you ready? 20 Ks to go.
He looks good on a bike, Matteo Jorgensen, doesn't he? Little flick of the elbow there.
He's got a Tom Dumoulin coat hanger in his jersey.
Do you know what he looks like? He looks like a cross between Dumoulin and Bradley Wiggins on a bike.
Yeah.
He's a taller rider,
yeah,
but just looks poised. He just looks absolutely dialed on a bike. So does this man, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Tadej Pogacar looks like nobody other than himself, and he is the benchmark to which all others will be measured for quite some time.
he is indeed. Just banks into this left-hander. Leans the bike over into this little right one as well. Taking it easy, not needing to take any risk. Doesn't need to push at all. Relatively stress-free when you're not surrounded by other riders as well, as he passes through the 20 Ks to go board, 134. So he's just bouncing around now between 120 and 140, isn't it?
Oh, he's even hexagoning corners here, and just double-checking
That's
himself.
where he fell last year.
That's right, that's why.
He went through nice and easy.
Yes, he did.
Not taking any chances.
Do you know what I said about hexagoning? Just for those of you sort of taking a series of straight lines on a corner that he knows the danger of. So he was built in the insurance, hadn't he, just as he sailed round?
There's no way he was taking any chances there, Tadej Pogacar.
Let's have another look, shall we?
Look,
here we go.
Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Tadej corner. Has a little wave, and he's not gone agricultural this time. He's not picked up any vegetation in his helmet. Good stuff. We can breathe easy.
Oh, that was hilarious. You saw the double check before he got there.
Because I thought, that's his corner.
Yeah.
There we go.
Tadej Pogacar is going to bring this home. 95 seconds is his advantage, and he can just pick all the lines through. He can keep the bike more upright than anybody else who's contending. And so the penultimate Strade Bianche, the longest of what remains. There's a more technical, of course, still to come. This is the Pizzuto.
Yep.
He has the Tolfe still remaining, which is a 4-star section because of its gnarliness. It can bite. But right now he's taking a big chunk out of this one.
Yeah, this is a long one. This is where he might just give it a little bit of a push, just to squeeze and just carve a little bit more of a gap. Again, just bobbing, that familiar style of his, just opting for the left-hand side of the road, avoiding that little crown where there's more and more gravel. And there's where he's got to go. It's a long old climb, isn't it? 2.1 kilometres long. But those little plateau sections as well for recovery. But I'm expecting his lead just to increase ever so slightly up here. But also behind from that group, I'm expecting Mr. Sexas to go on the offensive again. And I think we might see the chase group slightly reduced by the time we get to the top.
I think you're right. Let's see. At the moment, there is, 55 seconds between the chasing group and, indeed, Group 3, as we have it at the moment. Matt going to turn a big pan into a selfie in a few moments' time. It's the way it works. Appearing on social media any moment now. 18.5 kilometres from home. What an arena we have waiting to welcome Tadej Pogacar. You quite rightly point out all the Slovenian flags. I've got to tell you, many people in Slovenia listen in to English commentary because they love hearing their heroes fated in English. It gives them an international frame to their amazing athletes, of which there have been a string, but greatest of all is Tadej Pogacar.
Indeed, for a very small nation, they have produced absolute megastars of cycling, haven't they? And here is their greatest, possibly the greatest. And there's my favourite sign of the day, Forza Tadeo. It just flows so nicely, doesn't it? Seems like it was made to be slightly Italian. Here we go. When are we going to see the next move? Sexas at the back, trying to get through the centre. Looks like Jan Christian just trying to block him a little bit here.
Yeah, look at Pidcock trying to find at least some vision out there, and suddenly the pace changes, and Jan Christian wants to put some hurt on here. This is for Del Toro. He's already water carried, been back to the car, called for drinks, handed them out. They've managed to get themselves the sustenance they need to finish the day, but let's see how they do it. Just bouncing there, Tom Pidcock, number 131 in the dark blue with UBS written upon his shoulders. Sexas is also very much in there. Likewise, Romain Gregoire, who's been riding brilliantly today. Almost unmentioned within this group, but don't be surprised if he gets himself a good finish.
Sexas is off.
Look, it's starting to just pedal a few squares at the back here. Is it just because he was out of position? But as you say, Sexas has gone for this.
Yeah, remember, this is a climb that you really need to pace yourself on. Sexas is just seated, just gradually accelerated. Isaac Del Toro fighting to stay in the slipstream of the flying Frenchman. He's eating into the lead, or taking a few seconds off the lead of Tadej Pogacar, but we saw this last time up. Sexas just towards the top on that steepest part of the climb, looks around, surveys the damage. He's got one man with him for company. This time he won't wait up.
No, he won't, and Del Toro is going to be there.
He won't work.
He's not going to work. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times Sexas asks him. He's going to lean upon him. Yeah, exactly, because Del Toro wants second place, for goodness sake, and he can carry on surfing like this all day long.
Exactly, and also the optics don't look good at all. I mean, that there's at one point he might gently roll through when there's no threat at all. But the thing is, Sexas is such a talented rider, and we still don't know that much about him. You know, everything is still... We've only got a few races. We know he's going to be an absolute phenomenon. He is already, but he's also very, very dangerous indeed. All it takes is for Tadej Pogacar to have a bit of an issue. The last thing you want to do is for Del Toro to assist in the pacemaking. So Del Toro's got to be super conservative here and sit in the slipstream and maybe roll through when the win is basically secured. They cannot take any chances. He is so, so dangerous.
Pidcock it is that's fighting to close this gap. Mathieu Jorgensen is going along for the ride. Goodness me, they're all racked up here. Romain Gregoire is starting to look better and better, but right now it is Tom Pidcock that is trying to close this gap. He wants another podium. He's got his own record over the last 5 years to indeed be added to.
What we've seen over the last couple of years is the way that Tom Pidcock, he won't, when he needs to, he won't put himself into the red. He clearly was put in the red early, paced himself, and then on the shallower sections of the climb has leant on it, like low cadence, high torque, and now he's at the front of this group, actually trying to shut this gap down. That's perfect pacing. A few years back, we might have seen Tom react a little bit more instinctively. He's riding so smart. It always looks a bit worrying when a rider gets dropped, but a little bit like Joao Almeida, just paces the climb and rides it slightly differently. So really smart riding there by Tom Pidcock.
Here is your chasing group: Christian Gregoire, Pidcock, Vermeersch, Jorgensen. This is proper quality. As if Del Toro and Sexas is not. They have indeed still got a modest gap at the moment. It is only modest, just 10 seconds, as you can see. An awful lot of dust to that bike just in front of them, which bringing us the most atmospheric of pictures.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Almost at a different atmosphere, a stratospheric at altitude is Tadej Pogacar. He's floated away, hasn't he?
He certainly has. Catapulted away. And is now floating now. You know,
exactly.
Poetry in motion.
He's just held this gap. He's not stressed himself at all. He did the hard work with, 50-odd kilometres to go. That was part of the vanguard. Then went with, he had 40... Well, goodness me. I mean, where do the numbers stack up for this man, apart from being impressive? And he's in a holding pattern.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do too much. I mean, even the best riders in the world can get carried away by the moment and get the fungale, and just blow, but he's riding within himself. Just in case there's something special comes from behind, he can just lift it a little bit more in the last 10 Ks of this race. But Del Toro is doing the right thing. He might just roll through really gently, but he's not going to really push on Paul Sexas. And this is a mark of respect as well. Like, if Del Toro was sure that he'd beat him, he might actually ride with him to secure second place. But I also think Del Toro's more than happy to stay with that group, because I think he knows that on the Via Catarina, he's got the beating of pretty much everybody. Maybe safe for that rider. So Del Toro just riding smart, and he's got his man up the road. The victory is all but confirmed, barring incident now. But Sexas is still that unknown quantity, and that's a mark of respect. So Sexas won't get annoyed by that. If Del Toro's riding like that, it's just, mate, it's because I think you're very dangerous, and it's because I think you're very good. So Sexas has just got to ride his own race now and to secure that podium spot.
We're coming into, after that magnificent sweeping camera shot that we've just enjoyed, beautiful work by the Helicam, I've got to say. It's the golden hour. It's now that filmmakers want the warmth to be generated, to fizz off the screen. And right now, the man of the moment is on your screen, as you see. Look at him. He is just poetry in motion at the moment. He does not look like he's this deep into this day. He owns
There's
it.
the tuft. For all you Tadej Tuft fans.
Delta fin.
There it is. I don't know how inefficient it is, but it's the trademark of this man.
Well, there it is. Long shadows cast in this beautiful time of day. And it's a beautiful era if you happen to be Tadej Pogacar, and a hellish one if you happen to be an opponent who's aggrieved by this man's just dominance, of which we have seen plenty of today. Cometh the man, cometh the moment. It looks like that gentleman, he was thinking about tapping him on the head, and in the end he just tapped him on the halo.
And thought better of it, indeed.
The aura.
Oh, it's incredible there. And there's where we're heading. That's where we are. That's where we are calling this race from, right in the centre.
Suggestion of rain in the area, but don't think it's going to bedevil us. If you look beyond Siena, you can see it just in the hills there, but I think we're going to escape it, even if indeed we've got a light dusting or even a downpour. I don't think it'll dampen this man's drive for the line.
No, I think we should be okay. 65% humidity. I thought it was about that. And there we go, 3Ks now. A very gentle breeze today, hardly affected the race at all. Paul Sexas now with Isaac Del Toro. A little thorn in the side of the Frenchman, but again, if I was the DS of this man on the front at the moment, I would just say keep on riding. Del Toro's not going to give you a turn, so almost forget about him. And if he beats you, he beats you, but you're on the podium of one of the greatest races, the most special races in the world.
Yeah.
So just focus on your own effort. Don't lose energy by being frustrated about a rider who's doing his job. It's a difficult situation, but these are scenarios that Paul Sexas is going to learn more about himself, learn he's such a talented rider, but at the moment, it looks like he's got enough firepower under the hood to ride away from this group, but it's his fellow Frenchman, Romain Grégoire, who's leading the chase behind with Pidcock back in the fold.
Yeah, and a modest margin of 13 seconds separating those two groups. But 1:15 is the clearance that Tadej Pogačar has, as soon, looming large in his mind, will be the final of the Strade Bianche, the last of the white roads to be dealt with. And then he can start thinking about how to celebrate this one and how much he's going to put into the drive for the line. Here he comes, the last of our Strade Bianche in this amazing day here, Matt.
Indeed, this is Le Tolfe for the final time. It's a sketchy one. We've seen a couple of riders nearly come to grief. There's your stats, 1.1k long, 80% maximum slopes, and there's a fast run into that little left-hander at the bottom. But Tadej Pogačar just floating down at this descent, making it look easy, completely at one with his machine, and with a nice cushion with 12.5Ks to go of 1 minute and 16 seconds to Group 2. And 1.5 minutes and some change to Group 3.
Yeah, it is steep here. You go into a little V-shaped valley, which you've already described earlier today. And now, here it comes. The last fating for these spectators of this great, great rider. And indeed, the bikes up front need to power their way through the crowds, because the crowds are going to give full vent and lean in for a look at some greatness here.
Fantastical.
It's his, isn't it?
It's looking increasingly like it. 300 metres to the top of this climb, urged on by the Tifosi, calling his name. He'll be getting, Tadej Pogačar's used to situations like this, but he'll be getting an enormous adrenaline spike as he powers his way over the top. The last of this Derato sections here in Strade Bianche. What a crowd, what a race, and another ridiculous demonstration of raw talent by Tadej Pogačar.
And appreciation. Listen to him.
He's a rock star, isn't he? A superstar of our sport. He's not Italian, but he might as well be. They absolutely love him, don't they?
King of this hill and every other hill, it seems. Tadej Pogačar is coming home. 11.8 kilometers of the day remaining. He has been through the last of our Strade Bianche, the very roads that give this race its name. Destination, Piazza del Campo, and what an impressive ride it has been. Likewise for the chase here, Paul Sexas, along with Isaac Del Toro, who is out to mug him, if possible, at the very last to make it a 1-2 for UAE Emirates. And if Jan Christen can close the gap as well, you just never know. Romain Grégoire, Tom Pidcock, Gianni Vermeers and Jorgensen, they are busy chasing, still coming through the crowds on that last section, the Tolfe, before they head home. But the day surely is that of Tadej Pogačar. It's about the podium place now, and the race is on.
It certainly is. Sexas is powering up this time to make sure he opens up enough of a gap from that group behind with Jorgensen and Pidcock. I think Pidcock just tried to move up the inside, but Sexas now driving hard. And it is indeed Tom Pidcock on the front. Great ride by Jan Christian, marking the British rider. Jorgensen on the wheel of the Swiss rider, and a superb ride at the back here for Gianni Vermeersch of Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, the world gravel champion, showing his gravel chops on this brutal, brutal day. But Sexas here, oh, is he putting the Del Toro under pressure? There's almost a bit of daylight.
There is. It's about a wheel width between the back and fore here. Just about stays with it here, Del Toro. This is going to be a big ask, I tell you, for Del Toro to make it a 1-2, if indeed that's the plan. Of course, it is for UAE Team Emirates, because Sexas is in fine form. He was the danger man. Tadej Pogačar speaking at the beginning of the day. They said, could Paul Sexas win this one? He said, yes, he possibly can, but he can only win second place behind me. Well, let's wait and see. There were big words, confident words, said calmly. It wasn't a brag. It seems to be just a fact.
Indeed. Well, it looks like Del Toro has been dropped.
Oh.
Del Toro has been dropped by Sexas on this this sector. Yeah, I mean, that is Sexas coming back. Sorry, Sexas is out in front. That is Del Toro.
That's Christian just pulled away from that group. Yeah, so he's now thinking, can we
didn't see that happen, did we?
Could we make this a 1-2-3? That's Jan Christian, who's left, indeed, the Gregoire and Pidcock group. So he's trying to bridge over. So if Sexas can be put under pressure here by the Swiss and, indeed, the Mexican...
It's bridging, isn't he?
You just never know.
Wow.
If he can bridge, this could be a 1-2-3 for UAE, the fly in the ointment, Paul Sexas. But here it goes. Tadej Pogačar is going home. This is amazing. Let's have a look.
Adulation there for Tadej Pogačar, but we saw Christian on the wheel of Pidcock. We then flicked back to the front, and then Christian, out of sight of the camera, clearly made that move, and he's got clear daylight. That's some move by Christian. And you look back at the way this race has unfolded, the amount of work, that ridiculous turn on the front that Christian did to rip this race apart till it was about 8 riders left. Pogačar went over the top. That's an effort that's really difficult to come back from, but he's bided his time. He's clearly fueled well, and we are potentially looking at a 1-2-3. He's got a bridge across the gap. It looks like he's eaten quite a lot of that gap just yet. So 1:18 to the chase group, 1:40 back, and then a distant 3 minutes and 16 back to what's the remnants of this tattered peloton.
Absolutely remarkable. He comes through the city marker, and Tom Pidcock is trying to wind in Jan Christian. They've just about got him.
Yeah.
I think that was his roll of the dice, and he goes to the side of the road and says, all right, fellas, fair enough. Only a 1-2 for us then. Well, Paul Sexas is determined not for that to be the case, or for that not to be the case is the better way of saying it. Better way of saying Tadej Pogačar is in charge. There is no better way of doing that, because that's precisely the emotion. They come through the 10 kilometres to go. 1.2 kilometres up ahead of them is Tadej Pogačar, who is going to bring this in and can think about any way he wants to celebrate.
Indeed. Well, it's only a tenuous lead. It's only 14 seconds between the Sexas duo and this group behind. So that little acceleration by Jan Christian has closed the gap. And as they come into the outskirts of this city, remember, we lose elevation, and then we've got to gain it all again before losing it again before the final climb in. So there's this horrible main road drag where they'll be able to see everybody out in front.
Yeah.
And so it's 14 seconds it is between Group 2 and Group 3 as we continue to focus on the world champion, tapping out that rhythm, still looking completely and utterly in control.
Reigning world champion, won Strade Bianche only last year, of course. Previously, the best result for the rainbow jersey was second place, Julian Alaphilippe, in 2021. Tadej Pogačar. Honestly, where did he come from? I know Slovenia, but you know what I mean. Oh, dear.
Yeah, this is this long main road drag now that he's on. 1 minute 27 seconds behind. Paul Sexas corners straight on the power. Del Toro sat in the slipstream of this 19-year-old prodigy on the hoods. He's committed now. He hasn't even looked round. He knows that Del Toro's not going to give a turn. He wouldn't expect him to now. He's just got to see what he's got left on the Via Catarina. He's also not got to panic. He looks across, and he will no doubt see the chasing group with Christian and Jorgensen in it. So a little bit nervous now for Sexas. Let's just see if anybody else can bridge across. But again, I still think Sexas is looking very, very strong, but the man that looks the most composed, apart from the man out in front, is Isaac Del Toro. And we know that he can pounce like a viper. He's got such an acceleration. He has to be a shoe-in for second place now.
Do Vipers pounce or do they strike?
And they strike.
You
He's not a cat. Cats pounce.
You need legs to pounce.
You do.
You know, snakes famously, they don't have them. If they do, they're called lizards. But anyway.
Yeah. It'd be weird if a snake pounced. It would feel wrong.
7.4 kilometres from home. Gosh, it feels like party time here, and I tell you, it's about to erupt, I've got to say, in the Piazza del Campo, in the fating of Tadej Pogačar. You know what? This is breaking down here. Del Toro and Seixas, this gap is starting to close because these guys still have belief.
Yep, they do.
14 seconds, that's doable. Let's see. You never know. Jan Christen's dream of 1, 2, 3 might still happen. It's all to be disclosed in the next 7.2 kilometres.
Yeah, the danger here is Christian's got to be really careful. He doesn't want to... He's attacked once, he got brought back, he opened up a gap quickly, but came back equally as quickly. So clearly he's starting to suffer. Otherwise, he would have been able to sustain that effort and maybe bridge across. So Christian's got to be careful now that he doesn't bring this all back together and possibly eliminate the chance of a 1-2. But Seixas hasn't even looked round, but there they are behind. They're 15 seconds, so we know how the gap is foreshortened on this nasty main road climb. And the Chase Group 3 have got this group firmly in their sights, but it's still a big gap to cross.
Paul Seixas, what a day he has had. I mean, he hasn't let his head drop. And in fact, there's been moments where we thought perhaps strategy-wise, he could have actually handled it a little bit better. But you know what? If he comes home for second place today, we'll have no complaints, and he will have done nothing wrong because he's delivered.
Yeah, like totally. He's so strong.
Yeah.
I think there's just that willingness to race. He's clearly ridiculously hungry. He's learning with every single race. He's learning more about himself. But no rider's ever the finished article, and he's very early in his career. But there they go. They're cresting the top of this climb. It's still held steady at 14 seconds. This little clutch of riders now led by Jorgensen. They're just stabilising that lead. They haven't really closed it.
No.
It's almost internally long over the top here. But this man hasn't missed a beat. Still steady with a nice, comfortable buffer of just under 6 Ks to go of 1 minute and 24 seconds. And there's the final. There's your final Ks for you.
Mr. Beat, it's a techno triumph. And this man...
He does like his techno.
He does.
He likes his rap as well.
Well,
does Tadej?
Maybe he can have a cheesy or lamb wrap, whatever he likes, to be honest, at the end of today, because he will have earned it. 5.7 kilometres from home. The chasing group at 1 minute and 24. He's actually stretching the gap because they are starting to play a little bit of cat and mousage. Del Toro not helping Paul Seixas, who's trying to preserve a little bit of energy for the final delivery. This is the climb, but there's still a descent, a rather cheeky one still to be had. Rather disappointing. You get close to the Citadel, and then they take you back out of town and give you just one last punchy climb to deliver. But he's going to.
It's a really tough little run-in. Again, he hasn't missed a beat, but that does give opportunities for riders feeling strong in that chase group. The chasing group of Pidcock, should I say. But Seixas, on his own, has managed to take back a few more seconds. So it's now about 24 seconds between the two groups. So Paul Seixas has found another 8 seconds over the top of that one. And as you say, I think the other riders behind, Gregoire and co, are starting to look at each other. There's that final, well, the final spot on the podium's up the road. And I think they know they don't want to give too much now before that final climb to the line. And all it takes on the Via Caterina, giving it its gradient, is one rider to capitulate, and gaps could close really closely, or very quickly, should I say. But right now, Seixas is looking good to at least have the second or third step on the podium. So great riding by the young Frenchman.
Yeah, but there's still a top 5 for grabs as well, isn't it, for that secondary chasing group?
Indeed.
And they may well have to start thinking in those terms. They're only 11 seconds down on Del Toro and Seixas at the moment. This is, in fact, my maths has defeated me. 20 seconds.
Yeah, 20
yes,
seconds.
Exactly. So it'll be top 5 for them by the looks of things. 4.7 kilometres to go for Tadej Pogačar. He's just on this flat section. It does drop away from you in a few moments' time. You just come by this rather fetching ochre and smoky pink buildings. And then we have a little shilly-shally before we drop down. And so suddenly the gravity is his friend as he'll start to think about finishing the day. I don't know. Has he got enough time to get off the bike, carry it over? He's thinking about these things.
Probably. He might be. It's just, yeah, get the climb out of the way, and then he can think about his podium celebration, because he's done that a few times now. He's running out of ways. A little bit of a twitch there.
And again.
50p'd that one, didn't he?
Oh, and he went a bit too wide there. Half of me thinks he might be playing with Del Toro here momentarily, but he certainly did a very challenging line into that. Maybe it's just starting to fray a little bit for Paul Seixas with just over 4 kilometres for them to go. Only 4 for Tadej Pogačar, who's further down the road. They're going to come to that Quattro Marche right now. In fact, it's the Cinque, isn't it? Goodness me.
Yep. He's about a kilometre and a bit in front of Tadej, about 1,200 metres in front of this sort of speed. There's that corner again.
Let's have a look at it.
Ever so just had to check.
Tink, tink, and then a broken surface, and then over to the corner here.
Yeah, he went very wide, carried a lot of speed in there. He's clearly pushing here. He just wants to make sure it's secured. He knows now that there's a strong likelihood. Oh, there's a big attack from behind.
Here we go, and it's coming. Jan Christen says, see ya, I'm out of here. I've been preserving myself. Maybe it was a bit of kidology. If he can get back to Seixas and Del Toro, you never know. The 1, 2, 3 may well be on, and Jan Christen has just flown the coop. Now then, it's for everyone else to try and wind him back in. Has he gone too early?
Yeah, I think he's got a big acceleration, but sustaining it, he doesn't seem to be able to do that. He's still off the front. Gregoire now takes his turn on the front after initial pulls by Jorgensen and Pidcock, but just coming up to 3 Ks to go for our world champion, who is staring into the face of a 4th victory in Strada Bianca.
Well, I mean, what is left to say about this amazing man? He can actually take victories at will, it seems, but there's an awful lot of preparation that goes into his delivery.
Yeah.
But the way he opens up his seasons, as we've already spoken about today, is something to behold.
It certainly is. I mean, he's imperious, isn't he? There's a lot of preparation that goes in to making sure he's absolutely optimal.
And he does it his own way, unconventional, some might say, Matt.
Yeah, I love the unconventional way that leads into the Tour de France. He's going to be riding just all of the monuments. He's going to be riding Flanders, he's going to be riding Roubaix, which for a lot of people is exceptionally risky, but he wants to win that bike race.
Yep.
And if he gets it wrong in that race, we know the consequence. It is a very dangerous race, but I like the fact that Tadej has been doing things differently. He is one of the most gifted riders ever. And he wants to properly write his name in the history of the sport while he's able to do so. So he's been criticised, I think, for being almost too dominant. But if you were this good, it'd be disrespectful to give races away. So if you remain hungry, you still love the sport, you've just got to keep winning and winning and winning. And he set the bar very high, but he will not give anything away while he's got this capacity.
Fabulous moment. He asks for confirmation of the gap because he's thinking about it. He's thinking about how he's going to mark this one up or chalk this one down. Was it chalk it up? I don't know.
Chalk it up, mark it down. Both work for me, Colin. 119, 1,600 metres to go.
He's there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got about 30 seconds on this group now as well. 32 seconds on this group. So that's a nice little lead that he's carving out.
Goodness me. Tadej Pogačar, 1:18 on the nearest chaser group, Del Toro and Seixas. They themselves with, 30 seconds between those who will finish in the top 5 amongst them. And then 3.5 minutes back to another group, including Ben Healy now, who gave it a good shake of the stick today. But there is no doubting the class and supremacy of Tadej Pogačar. When he's in the mood, and he usually is, then he's in the vanguard of those who indeed will contest the title. And quite frankly, he is a class apart.
He is, just rolls it round, settles back down into the saddle, passes under the Flamme Rouge, 1 kilometre to go. The Rose just rises in front, then we've got that little shimmy-shammy, that little chicane. Then he goes up the fearsomely steep slopes of the Via Caterina, which in turn will ultimately take him through to glory at the Piazza del Campo.
He goes under this triumphal arch, which used to be a gateway to the city, not indeed one of the main entrances to the Citadel, almost a tradesman's entrance, you might say. Well, he kicks in the door, invites himself to a party where nobody else is in attendance. He is going to be able to help himself to everything on the table yet again.
I think that must have been a mate. It's, as you say, it's a one-man disco, isn't it? He's got the glitter ball all to himself now. Do
you know what? He can cut whatever curves he likes and dominate every single one of these. This must be a joyful moment, unexperienced by just about anybody else. 600 metres to go. It's all his.
Joyful and indeed triumphant for Tadej Pogačar out of the saddle up this iconic road. Just look at that. Again, another cacophony of sound echoed by these ancient buildings. It is absolutely spectacular. And another unrivaled ride by Tadej Pogačar. Again, hit the season running like he did last year. I mean, this is his 5th win. The last 4 races last year, all wins, and he hits the season as he means to go on. What a ride. We are running out of superlatives.
Well, we'll keep stacking them up and you can keep knocking them down. Here comes Tadej Pogačar. It is his day. Oh, my goodness. There are fans, of course, who can say, yes, we saw Tadej. And that was yesterday, today, and indeed tomorrow. He is in charge of his own destiny. He writes chapters with ease. And this is an annal of cycling like no other. Tadej Pogačar punches the air and indeed punches all opposition. It doesn't matter when he starts his season. It usually begins with victory and 150 metres to go. He is essentially just having as near to a lap of honour as you're ever likely to get in this great race. He sits up, hands off the bars, waiting to acclaim the fans here. The Piazza del Campo belongs to him. Tadej Pogačar, a man who defines an era. Absolutely remarkable. He takes a bow and does so with style. There is a race behind him, but it is for a podium place. And it's Paul Sexas who's going to come and get it. He's dropped Del Toro. No 1-2 here. This is phenomenal. 300 metres to go. The nearest rival to him said Tadej Pogačar at the beginning of the day. I don't know if he has a crystal ball or whether he even needs one when he's around. But Paul Seixas is going to come home into 2nd place behind Tadej Pogačar, and he will be first to offer up congratulations, as if to say, well done. You were the best of the rest.
This is astonishing by this man. Remember, Isaac Del Toro has had a free ride, as much of a free ride as you can in this race. But Paul Sexas, the young sensation, salutes the crowd. A champion has been born.
19 years of age, for goodness sake. Seixas could well be a thorn in the side of Tadej Pogačar. Maybe not yet, but soon. And here goes the battle, of course, for 4th place. This is your top 5 that's up for grabs right now. A sensational ride by Romain Grégoire as the celebrations go on. Del Toro, who finishes 3rd, offers up his thoughts and congratulations and a hug and a kiss, I'll be bound, of course, for Tadej Pogačar. As we look at the finish line behind them, that should be Grégoire just taking the turn in a few moments' time. He's done a phenomenal ride himself, and it's Gianni Vermeersch that finishes behind him by the looks of things. Still trying to get a good finish here is Jan Christen as well. They haven't finished their race. They're going to sprint indeed for a top 5 here. How fabulous is this?
This is fabulous stuff. Vermeersch there, just coming round the corner. It looks like Grégoire's going to take this one. Delicately takes the corner. One more little bend to go. It looks like the Frenchman is wheel skipping all over the place. It's going to be close, but I think Grégoire's going to take 4th on the day. 5th place for Vermeersch. A great ride by Jan Christen, and 3 riders in the top 6 for UAE Team Emirates XRG.
Job well done. Quite remarkably so. Fighting to get through the crowd to offer up his thanks as Jorgensen crosses the line right now. Wout van Aert will be coming across the line in a few minutes' time. What a day, and what a day to be a UAE Team Emirates rider. And yet again, Tadej Pogačar is in charge.
It's a stacked team performance by UAE Team Emirates. We knew Tadej Pogačar was going to be almost impossible to beat today, but the way his team took the race apart and then managed to get 3rd on the day, and also 6th place for Christian off that super turn. This is Kron now. This is a Wout van Aert, Ben Healy as well, so Kron rounds that corner.
On his wing is Jordan Labrosse here, sweeping up, you might say, Labrosse. Let's wait and see if Wout van Aert is not to stay out of the limelight. And Ben Healy, the terrier, still in here as well, wants to get a good finish. And he's sprinting Ben Healy, essentially, as near as damn it as he possibly can. wants to finish just behind it. Indeed, Wout van Aert, who's had a sensational day considering the road that has led to this. Oh, check this out as well. Shoulder to shoulder, tied on the inside. La Brosse is not to be denied. Wants this position. Let's have a look. One more turn to get in here, is it? Till we get to the light. There it is, just up ahead of them. And here's the right-hander. Cleverly, there bides his time. Gron, he comes in here. It's going to be 3 to the line here. Cron gets it on the throw by the looks of things, but Wout van Aert, I think, may have nipped in.
Oh,
That's a
tight.
photo. Oh, my goodness. Every place means something here.
It does indeed. To see Wout van Aert didn't want to take too many risks in the corners, but he's got such top end. I mean, there was a few of the crowd that just obscured our view. They would get confirmation, but it was very, very tight between Cron, La Brosse and Wout van Aert. But no doubt at all about who's won this bike race, but thrilling battles for those other valuable spots inside the top 10.
Wow.
What an entertaining day it has been.
Do you know, it almost doesn't matter the dominance of Tadej Pogačar. You have to appreciate what he's delivering to the sport, but also just acknowledge and fate the performances of those that finish in the wake of this man.
Oh yeah, it's a massive, it's a big performance to get inside the top 10 in a race like this, but that's a big smile on the face of Tadej Pogačar. Last year, in the same position, his clothing torn, blooded, but certainly not bowed. Today, incident-free for the world champion. This race is his once more. Nobody has won it more times now than Tadej Pogačar. Cancellara, he was equal on with 3, but now Pogačar writes another chapter, as you were saying, in his quite remarkable book. There we go.
What a gem. Started uncut, and now is polished to perfection. Tadej Pogačar takes this amazing race yet again. His 4th, indeed, victory here. Paul Seixas nearest to him. Isaac Del Toro, teammate of Pogačar, rounds out the podium ahead of Romain Gregoire, Gianni Vermeersch, Jan Christen, Tom Pidcock, Mathieu Jorgensen, Andy Cron, and Wout van Aert finishes in 10th place, the same time as Cron. Didn't quite manage to throw the bike at the line.
I think Wout van Aert will be pretty happy with that. I think we're going to hear, possibly, from our winner, by the looks of things.
Today, victory number 4 at Strade Bianche. How do you compare this one with the others?
Yeah, I know. Probably I always say this, but yeah, chapeau to the team, to the teammates today. Everybody did an incredible job. Doman from the start and Kevin to control the brake and getting us in good position in the sectors. Then Felix started with a great pace, and Florian, and yeah, it was just beautiful to see all the guys in the team performing so well. And then also the young bullets like Jan and Isaac, what a job from them, and was an honor to ride with such a team today and to deliver the win. So yeah, I'm super happy.
Take us back to the moment when you didn't allow Paul Seixas to come with you. Was that the key of the race?
Yeah, I saw that he's chasing really hard on the steepest part of the climb on Santa Maria, but I said to myself, I will go all out to the top, and then I will see if he can breach, or he will either he will come to my wheel or he will explode. And I mean, explode. He will make a gap, and yeah. In the end, I saw it's enough, and I knew that Isaac is there and Jan also. So this helped a lot to go alone.
This is your first race this year. Does it indicate that your 2026 season will be like the previous one, or even better with the next race, Milano-San Remo?
We'll see. We'll see. It's a great start of the season, and yeah, we'll see. Today was the first day of the year, and then we go day by day, race by race, and we see how it goes.
Voilà.
Thank you.
We'll see how it goes. I think it'll go well.
I think it will. It's not just Tadej's clear form,
Yeah.
but as as all riders do, and as Tadej did then, quite rightfully, talked about his team, name-checked every single member of his team, from Novak, who started things off early, Kevin Vermaak and the rest of the lads, that they did. But when you have a team like that to basically tear the race, not so much stifle the race, but nobody else has got that sort of firepower to deliver him to that point. You know, that the team are massively important. Tadej needs a hard race to do what he can do. He can go off that super hard pace. So, but again, there are very, very few riders. In fact, it's only Tadej Pogacar that can do what he can at the moment. But also a nod to Paul Sexas there, who managed to dispatch Isaac Del Toro despite Del Toro sitting on his wheel. I'm wondering, Del Toro didn't look too distressed on the run-in, and we didn't see him drop him. I'm sure he wouldn't have let him win, but maybe I'm just thinking whether Del Toro actually thought, I've sat on him, this rider is the future. Maybe he just, I don't know. I don't want to say gave him the second place, because I didn't see. If we can have images of the attack.
I think it was a respectful acknowledgement.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's like this ride, I've just sat on this guy's wheel, or why do I want to take away his podium? We've won the race, I'm going to get third. It could be a mix of that, I don't know. But Sexas continues to impress. This man continues to dominate.
Goodness me. Well, the dust upon his shoulders, most of which kicked up by a motorcycle, because there was nobody in front of him.
There wasn't at all. No, had his own race from 80 Ks to go. Again, we were looking and waiting, thinking, oh, his second wheel, Del Toro's on his wheel, is he really going to launch? And then it was like, yes, yep, he's going to launch. And that's exactly what he did. We're still seeing riders coming in several minutes down now. And they'll probably continue to do that for the next 10 or 15 minutes, that is for sure. This race split to pieces over the Tuscan Hills. Another Tadej performance. But it's really interesting to see over the last couple of years. I mean, Del Toro is one of the riders that's ultimately, I mean, Tadej, he's only 4 years or 5 years younger than Tadej Pogacar, but Sexas is 8 years younger. He is emerging as the next talent. I think, all things being equal, if he continues this trajectory, not to put any pressure on his shoulders, he clearly is a Grand Tour winner and a Monument winner in the making. And we are seeing those green shoots. And I think for France as well, as for the world of cycling, it's very, very welcome, because it looks like he might be one of the only riders that can actually challenge Tadej Pogacar. And the other rider that can challenge Pogacar is quite possibly Del Toro in the next few years. That podium is a significant one for multiple reasons.
I wonder if Del Toro would have to go somewhere else in order to be offered that opportunity.
Potentially.
It's certainly a rider that you could build a team around.
Yes.
But then again, you could say that for most of the roster at UAE Team Emirates, to be honest. Phenomenal.
Here it is. This is the moment where Sexas rides away from Del Toro. Look at that. This is the way that Sexas has been riding over the last couple of weeks. It's literally riding people off the wheel. On multiple occasions he tried his hand. He looks round and he sees that the gap is opening. Paul Sexas, remember, 19 years of age. This is an impressive performance. I just hope that the French don't put too much pressure on his shoulders. But there's talk, it's not been confirmed, that he may actually debut in the Tour de France at the tender age of 19 years of age. Let's just see. Let's just let him enjoy this moment. It's not a victory, but second place to Tadej Pogacar is as good as that these days. It really is.
Remarkable day and remarkable athletes. I think every one of the top 10 deserves some credit today. Seems like a shallow thing to say, but I mean, they were all amazing in their own right, considering what they had to deal with. Paul Labrosse, who really lit it up at the very last here, sort of kept himself not anonymous, but very much part of that vanguard, and misses out on a top 10 just. It's got to hurt.
Yeah, that is going to hurt. Van Aert closing, the three of them across the line, so Kron getting that 9th, Van Aert 10th. But let's say a great ride as well, hit by Jan Christian too after teeing things up. But a salute from this man, Jan Christian, Paul Sexas, should I say. So much potential, such an exciting rider, as is this rider as well.
Lovely
rode
to
a brilliant
see him
race.
smiling, actually.
Yeah, he rode a brilliant race, isn't he?
Could have been a Giro winner. he'll think about that for a long, long time.
He will. He'll have more opportunities, but yeah, that's an interesting story. That's a whole discussion on its own, isn't it? That could rumble on for years and years. What an iconic, interesting Giro d'Italia that was. But Del Toro is the real deal, isn't he?
Look at that vista. Oh, it's why we come. It's why we love coming here, isn't it?
I just love it. Absolutely love it. Hoping to come here later in the year when the cycling's not on. Oh, let's have a look back on a wonderful day.
What a day it has been. Enjoy. What an amazing day. Tadej Pogačar is the first 4 times winner of Strade Bianche. He leaves at 3, or he leads. Fabio Cancellara, 3 wins, of course. Pogačar's last 3 wins came in succession. Goodness me, 24, 25 and 26. That's a proper hat-trick. What on earth remains for this amazing man?
Yep, Milan-San Remo next on the menu. Yeah, so got a relatively light but heavy programme in terms of big races, but lack of stage races until later in the year. And of course, hoovering up monuments as he goes. And a big high five there. Clearly for somebody he knows quite well. Yeah, he must have enjoyed this. Proper joy written large on his face. He loves these moments. He's hungry. He's dominant. He's doing what he does best. Soaking it up in one of the most iconic.
Look at that.
It's just beautiful, isn't it? There's nothing like it, Carlton. Some of my favourite imagery of the year always comes from this race. That is special.
It most certainly is. And so is he.
We should get the podium soon, shouldn't we? Looking forward to that. Another trophy. He must have a separate location for all of his trophies, must Tadej Pogačar, mustn't he? Almost as big as Sean Kelly's. Well, he's got like a special shed, isn't he, or annex, that's it's top secret.
Is it?
But
well, you let
I think we've only seen the interior, but we've never seen the exterior. So nobody knows where it is.
Yes.
It's in Europe somewhere. That's all I'm going to say, just in case Sean's listening.
Just in case you get a phone call.
Hey, Matt.
Oh, dear.
I told you to keep that a secret.
What the hell are you doing giving that away? Well, it's been a great day,
It has.
topped off by some Sean Kelly impersonations there.
Indeed. Apologies if Sean, you're listening. He's a good friend of ours. He won't mind.
Oh gosh, the Del Campo. It's here where the Palio is run. Well, the flags were out today, weren't they? But mostly Slovenian, as you can gather.
Yep. That was great. What a day's racing. It's been brilliant, hasn't it?
Been absolutely wonderful. It's
I'm
been
buzzing.
a pleasure to
I'm
have
buzzing,
you company.
Carlton.
Oh, so am I.
Looking forward to our little drive, because we're going to do Tirreno later in the week, aren't we?
Yes.
Lovely Italian meal tonight.
It's going to be, oh yes.
I'm looking, and then a day of preparation for Tirreno, and also looking back on an extraordinary couple of races today.
You've gone wistful.
I have. But this is what racing does. Because you're high for so long, aren't you? And now we're just in more reflective mode now.
The Torre del Maglia.
Every time I come here, I must have 100 pictures of that tower on my phone. Every year you come and take another one. It's not changed. It feels like the right thing to do.
And nothing's changed as far as our winner is concerned as
No.
well. Tadej Pogacar, he just keeps doing it, for goodness sake.
He does. He's going to want to do it in Milan or San Remo. That will be the one. Been consistently up there. Has been training hard. But a win certainly puts him in the right frame of mind. His form looks incredible. He always looked to be riding within himself today. That's the thing. That's the thing that's worrying, isn't it, for his competitors, is the fact that he never looked to be on the edge. And even when Saxas closed in, the fact he had a little bit left, probably a lot left, just open up the gap. Just wanted to ride it solo. Took Tadej's corner gingerly. No more laydowns for Tadej in this race, as it was last year. But win number 4 in Strade Bianche as he adds to his ridiculously burgeoning Palmares.
I was sat next to Ginger Lee, actually, coming on the flight.
Were you?
Yeah.
All right.
Needs a bath. Anyway.
I think I know what you're referring to.
If you're listening, Lee, turn the water on. Right then, we are waiting for our podium ceremony, for goodness sake. Surely it can't be that long now. But yeah, Tadej, of course, the world's media mobbing him, asking all the questions that, of course, we will not get answers to, not yet, about the remainder of his season and what's his hopes are. Well, his dreams come to reality, it seems, here, Matt.
Yeah, definitely. Starting off with a win, always important, especially in that rainbow jersey. I think we are following him to the podium. Putting on some new podium spectacles by the looks of things. Looks like he's opening some sort of bar. Treated to a Twix earlier on. I'm not too sure if he's got a Twix there.
Maybe he's just
energy bar.
wrestling with a Tic Tac box.
Could be a Tic Tac box. Just be careful not to choke on that on the podium.
Yeah, I like the cherry ones.
Nice, aren't they? I've had them for years. Big group of riders just rolling in. 21 minutes, 30 seconds behind. As the light starts to fade ever so slightly. It's, of course, late in the afternoon.
Yeah, we're not
17:01.
We're not that far away from dusk, I'll tell you that.
Not.
What a podium. And terrific for Tadej to be able to share it with Isaac. Great ride by him.
Yeah, superb ride by Isaac Del Toro. Just rode in such a good position all day. We know he's a crazily talented bike rider, but just rode with real maturity today.
And wheel maturity. Yeah.
Wheel maturity today. No. Surely one would imagine in the future he'll be given leadership of the team in some of these big single-day races. Certainly suits him down to the ground. But yeah, a real talent who shone today, that is for sure, as did his team.
Di 2 Giro d'Italia, una Tour de France, una Vuelta in Spagna, una Milano Sanremo, 2 Giri in Lombardia.
It's got to be happy with this, isn't he, Paul Sexas?
Oh, you'd think so. 19 years of age, for goodness sake. 90 years and 5 months. Smashes the record for the youngest rider on the podium at the Strade Bianche. Moreno Moser, it was, who held it 2 years and 2 months. It shows you what a prospect Paul Sexas is. Is he the real deal? France keep asking.
He appears to be. Just let him enjoy his bike racing is the key, though, Carl, isn't it? As we say so often, let him express himself, let him enjoy the racing. Don't put too much pressure on him. But he is such a talent, so eager to get stuck in as well. Just that eagerness, that keenness, that exuberance of youth that should be celebrated. It should be nurtured as well over the next couple of years, as France search for their next true champion. And what they want as well is for the first French person since Bernard Hinault, French man, should I say, to win the Tour de France. There's Vincenzo Nibali, the shark of Messina, sharking round the podium as well.
Signore e signori, a vincere la 20ª edizione di Strade Bianche by Crédit Agricole è un corridore che arriva dalla Slovenia, difende i colori della UAE Team Emirates HRG, il campione del mondo, Tadej Pogačar!
Thunderous applause for a mighty champion.
Tadej Pogačar viene premiato in questo momento da Nicoletta Fabio, sindaco del comune di Siena, e da Vittorio Rato, vice direttore generale.
He owns the place.
Un applauso per Tadej Pogačar! Ancora un applauso per Tadej Pogačar, per Paul Sexas e per Isaac Del Toro.
Well, it's been a joy to have your company here in this amazing race, and a phenomenal champion as well. It will be his national anthem that we hear. A familiar theme.
Pogačar,
familiar winner.
Tadej
Pogačar has done it again. Sexas and Del Toro sharing the podium. It's been a joyful day of cycling. Two amazing races, Strade Bianche Donna and indeed Tadej's day as well. It's been a pleasure to have your company, and it's a pleasure to be part of indeed this amazing crew that's brought you this amazing race. My name's Carlton Kirby. We thank you at home. We thank Matt Stevens, of course, sitting alongside me. And indeed, we thank Tadej Pogačar for another spectacular performance. Both Matt and I will be back to indeed enjoy your good company. If you found us here today, then you will find us, of course, for Tirreno Adriatico, which comes up in a couple of days' time. But for now, we just have to acknowledge the greatness of this man. We will see an awful lot more of him, you can be sure, for many years to come. Paul Sexas will be very much part of, indeed, our thoughts going forward, and Del Toro himself. Yet more glory coming his way. Three outstanding athletes on what's been an amazing day of racing, and we thank you for it. And we bid you a fond farewell.
Campione del mondo, campione d'Europa, 4 strade bianche conquistate, vincendo in questo momento il premio Tudor, Gaetan Franier, sponsoring Advance signore e signori. Allora un applauso per Rodei, Pogacar, UAE, Iris, Ecstasy, Rosa Ferrei, quindi noi ringraziamo Ayman Barriera, Sanzonica, Lorenzo, Luisa, bacio di cuore da parte di Michele Pogacar, il pubblico del Battice. Allora, oggi rimane che ringraziare Credita Agricole, ma è lo sponsor dell'evento e tutti gli altri.
Take this second place as the best result you can get.
Of course, this is the best result I can get today. Tadej Pogacar was like every race in 2025, in 2024 is like one step or two step ahead the others. But yeah, today I'm really happy to be second, and it's just insane to be here.
Tell us more about the moment when you have tried to go with him, he didn't let you go.
Yeah, it was a bit strange because when he attacked, I tried to follow Pidcock and the toe kind of blocked me, not one or twice but three times, and so I was stuck and it was the game. They choose to play like this, so I have to fill the gap after, and of course when they started Pogacar in the front, it's too much of a gap to let him 20 or 30 meters. I tried to follow to get back on the wheel. I was really close, but there was 500 meters too much, and I see he was managing his effort. He looked back and they just don't want to have me in the wheel.
How did you win the battle against Del Toro?
It was really hard after because after this I was stuck. I was with Isaac Del Toro, and he don't want to ride with me. Of course, they started in the front. It's normal. And so we were in the big group, and we managed to escape in the end. And it was really hard. I was always full gas, and then I was thinking that he was just passing me in the end, and I was just aiming for the podium and to be second and to just finally get him out of the wheel. It was really unbelievable.
We know you'll come back for winning. Félicitations.
Thank you.
We were a lot of expectation.
Strade Bianche. How good is that?
I'm super happy to be in this position. It's always nice to race with the victory actually. And yeah, super proud to be now here and happy that the day is in.
Tell us more about the tactic with Tadej at the front and then you trying to make the podium.
Yeah, it was more to have the race controlled like every year. I supposed to be a little bit in the front of Tadej, but he decided to go early, so I tried to manage the group behind. And thankful I was with the legs to finish the work.
Have you been impressed by Paul Sexas, this young Frenchman, a rider who is even younger than you?
Yeah, he's really good rider. He showed before like he's with a super high level, and I'm super happy to race against these guys.
Siena, it's the place where you took the pink jersey last year at the Giro d'Italia. When will you win the Strade Bianche?
Hopefully one day in my career. I just really want to be realistic. I really like this race, and yeah, hopefully in the future I will try it.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Ho chiesto a Pogacar se l'attacco...
So Francisca, congratulations first of all. Do you know you are the first German with a podium finish at the Strade Bianche Women?
No, I didn't know. I'm really proud with the podium, and wearing also the German national champ jersey makes it even more special.
Can you tell us what happened in the last meter? Because we have seen a lot of surprises, attack, how it went.
Yeah, so we came all back together in the last 5K, I think, and then we still tried to attack to create a good situation for us. But nothing sticked, so I just set easy pace into the climb, and then we just went full gas to the top, and then we came with a group of 4 to the top, and I tried to take the lead, and that opened up the corner for Elise, which was then perfect. In the final, it's all about taking the corner first, and then Elise could come around first over the corner and take the win, and me coming in third is a really strong team performance.
Are you happy with your start of the season?
Yes, I'm very happy. Coming in to this season with a new team gave me a lot of motivation, and already Omloop was a really strong race, and being able to finish here on the podium just confirms that it also was a really good change for me.
Congratulations, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Grazie. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Kasia, congratulations, another podium in the book. Are you satisfied with it?
Thank you very much. I don't know if I would say that I'm satisfied. Definitely getting second is always special, being on the podium to celebrate it on the square in Siena. But yeah, it's still not victory, and I feel like it's been something I've been chasing for many years. So yeah, it's a little heartbreaking, but on the other hand, it's also beautiful to still be on the podium.
It has been a particular race because we have seen that things didn't go as planned. What can you tell us about?
Yeah, the race opened up quite early on the longest gravel section, Santa Maria. Of course, it's very crazy and hectic coming into the section because everyone wants to be on the front, and we had some crashes and I got stuck behind. So for me personally, the sector was about like chasing and getting the right position, and then yeah, the race was on from that moment.
And does the Strade Bianche Women remain the most beautiful race of the year for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely love the atmosphere, and especially this year on Le Toffe, it was just insane. It was so loud, I just felt ringing in my ears. So for us, for women, to experience such a vibe, so many people cheering for us, was very special. It like kind of makes the pain go away a little.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Grazie.
Tadej, victory number 4 at Strade Bianche. How do you compare this one with the others?
Yeah, I know. Probably I always say this, but yeah, chapeau to the team, to the teammates today. Everybody did an incredible job. Doman from the start and Kevin to control the break and getting us in good position in the sectors. Then Felix started with a great pace, and Florian, and yeah, it was just beautiful to see all the guys in the team performing so well. And then also the young bullets like Jan and Isaac, what a job from them, and was an honor to ride with such a team today and to deliver the win. So yeah, I'm super happy.
Tadej Pogacar viene premiato in questo momento da Nicoletta Fabio, sindaco del comune di Siena, e da Vittorio Rato, vice direttore generale di Carolina Agricola. L'applauso per Tadej Pogacar!